Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, the no bullshit podcast for the outdoor enthusiasts. If you're into hunting, fishing, fine wines and even finer foods, you've come to the right place. So pull up a chair. Hello and welcome back to the Irish Hunting Podcast. On this week's episode number 58, it's part 1 of our Hungary hunting trip. We'll tell you how the first half of the trip went, all the highs, lows, in-betweens and everything we learned along the way. We will also bring you a roundup of news and events from around the country. This week's Let's Talk Gear section, it is the turn of the Infiray EH35 handheld thermal. And on the hunter's table, we have a lovely little dish from the lads over at Smokin-soul. Hope you all enjoy. Anthony,
Right.
how are you getting on, lad?
Jesus, lads, I tell you, we were sleeping beside each other nearly for the last week or so, and here we are now. We can't even see each other.
We can't even see each other, lad, and you're only down the fucking road. Huh?
Yeah. How are you, man?
I'm not too bad, lad. I'm a bit under the weather, as you can probably hear from my voice.
Yeah. Bad dose.
Yeah, bad old dose, man. Yeah, I came home we got home Sunday night. I was absolutely exhausted Monday, which I think we all were, out of pure lack of sleep. And then Tuesday didn't feel great, man. And yeah, I ended up having COVID. So that was interesting. That old thing that we all thought was fucking gone seems to be a reoccurrence. But no, I'm not too bad now. Honestly, it just feels like a little bit of a cold. That's all, really, you know. Yeah.
Look, you a couple of days rest, a few hot ones into you, Johnny, and you'll be right as rain.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll probably have YouTube completed.
yeah, exactly. And look, there's always something to be. There's every cloud has a silver lining. Is that it?
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, man. Yeah, without a doubt. How are you getting on?
She look good, same as Dapper, and he was not that we're looking for sympathy or anything. It's kind of one of them things where you come back after nearly the best part of a week away, and you feel like a bit of an idiot complaining about being tired. But as we both know, all four of us know, it wasn't for the faint heart. It was tough going. So but yeah, no, feeling good, getting back into swing of things. Haven't got out, haven't even opened the rifle case since I come home. So I won't be. Probably maybe over the weekend I might get out for now pheasants and stuff like that. So just nice and ease back into it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 100%. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Sure. Look, we're going to talk more, obviously, about our trip, our trip to Hungary.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about that and delve into that shortly. Can't wait for that.
There's plenty to talk about there, Bernie. Plenty to talk about there.
I think we should probably start off with an apology because if the amount of messages I'm getting from people giving out fuck about not having a podcast for 2 weeks. So apologies for that.
Apologies is right. Yeah, look, it's one of them. We were so busy organising, getting up for it, and then just one thing and another. And I suppose even to get it done tonight, we had to get it done tonight, or else to be heads to be rolling. Is that it?
We would be on strike. Yeah,
and we've this will probably be a two-parter, I think, judging by the stories that we have to tell. So sit down and sit back, enjoy it, lads. It's going to be a bit of a ride, yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. Come here, we'll talk before we headed off. Did you get out? Were you out all the week before we got off, or over the week?
Just got out to zero the rifle. I think, Bernie, was all I did, just to reaffirm. Rob actually gave me a shout. He had changed ammo, and he needs a zero going over, and so yeah, I went out with him, and we had a couple of shots, and I don't know whether I came out more confident or not. My shooting wasn't great on the day, but we got the job done anyway. And other than that, no, very, very, very little shooting. Yourself?
I was, I don't know what you call it, hunting. We went on the Wednesday. On the Tuesday, I was coming home from work. I actually had a physio appointment, and when I came out of the appointment, I had about 8 missed calls on my phone from people ranging from neighbours, uncles, my own father. Christy Malloy rang me, and I said, what in the name of Jesus is going on here? So I rang Christy Malloy back first, and he said to me, he says, by any chance, are you at all near home? And I said, well, I'm not. Well, I says, I'm not too far away. I was outside kind of Kilcock. And he says, there's a bull after going bananas and breaking out of the meat factory, which is only up the road here. And he says they can't get at it to with the humane dispatcher. Yeah. And they said they just need somebody around with a sort of a high-powered rifle. So I said, right. And I was actually heading to your place, actually. So I detoured on the way, and I came home, got the rifle. Excuse me. Went up to... so I got back on the phone with my father, and then who was also... And he said to me that the bull is actually in the back of my uncle's house, which is only up the road from me here. And I think he was actually after ploughing 2 people out of it in the factory. I think one fella wanted to stop him, and he was, I don't know if he was injured, but the fucking bull mowed him out. But anyway, and he went in through a couple of houses around the area, and it was just really, I suppose it was just one of those things that was dangerous, needed to get it sorted out, because, there'd be kids waiting for buses, and yeah, it was just one of those things. So
yeah.
So I flew into the house, got the 6.5, headed up the road, and then I was met at, I went up the road and up to the house where it was, and oh, be the Lord, just the whole parish was in the house to see this crazed fucking bull.
So you had an audience.
I had an audience of all audience, man. I'd say there was 50 people there. They were drinking tea and eating, and I thought all that was happening short of now was an old session getting going, So
no pressure on.
No pressure. I hate farmers, I hate people from the factory, and this one limousine bull, mad as ever, down the bottom of the garden. So I came around in, and they had organised a fella that does the humane killing, the dispatching to come, but he was a good hour away, and they were just afraid of their shit that he'd head off, There'd be no stopping him. So anyway, went around the back of the house and set up the old rifle, and he was probably about 80 or 90 yards away, I suppose. And I had asked the question, you have to be very careful. Like I said, are you sure? Who owns this? Who's taking ownership of it? And he says, I am. I said, are you happy enough for me to do this now? I don't want any, oh geez, yeah, please. And the factory were there, and the whole lot. So, and around the back, and the whole kitchen was full of people. And I sit up on the sticks, and you could hear them actually going, oh, shh, he's about to take the shot. I'm not telling you that. I swear to Jesus.
If ever the pressure was on, man.
Well, if ever the pressure, as bad enough it is shooting in a competition, there's a people looking at you don't know, but when the whole parish is there, half of them probably video it. But anyway, that was it.
In your own mind, you can kind of see the bullet clipping the wrong spot, and the bull running down through the fucking fence or the front door of the house or something.
Yeah, I says, I'm going to clip this lad and take half his ear off or something, and he's going
to
fucking wreck the place. And the gas thing, I said, if he does run, he's no way out. He's going to go through a few cars, because the whole yard was blocked with cars. So anyway, that was it. Set up on the set and got him and squeezed the shot off, and hit him in between the two eyes, and that was it. He dropped. He was down. He was dead within. He just dropped stone dead in the ground. That was it. So it worked out well, I suppose, in the end. And nobody else was injured, but it was an experience and a half. I'll tell you that. So
that's one of the, what would you say? The easier but more pressurized hunts you'll ever be on, I think, Bernie.
Exactly, without a shadow of a doubt, man. Without a doubt, yeah.
Did hardly ask you to Grolic come around? No,
no, they had a lad there from the factory. No, I thought they would have threw me a few fucking steaks or something, but no,
T-bone steaks or something. Yeah.
My God, man, yeah, exactly. But poor old cow, or the poor old bull, you would feel for it, It was just, it obviously got the old smell of blood and went mad,
Yeah, and then look, at once that happens, it's very, very, very hard to calm them down, because obviously, look, at a bull being a bull, he's a bull for a reason.
Yeah,
full of plenty of good stuff, and if the nose widens, they're a fearsome animal when they're in full tilt, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, you wouldn't want to. I just thought, because around that time, or some of the local schools around here finishing a half day. And I was just thinking, geez, if we get out, there's kids that kind of wait on their parents, to get off the bus up the road. And I said, geez, child standing there, this thing coming barreling down the fucking road towards you. You know, it'd be frightening. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was my So it was a good way of getting the eye in, I suppose, before we headed off to
That was your 0-1.
That was my 0-1, lad. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Good
Exactly.
stuff. Good
But,
stuff.
it's just interesting, talking about the 6.5. Like you and I both know we've been in factories before, and we bit of farming, and what's in the head of the skull bone of a bull.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when I say it, like it literally fell onto its two front knees and fell over. That was it.
Fell over. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's it. And it was back to, I think, what we kind of mentioned it on the last one, I think, or maybe the one previous. More so than the round and the rifle and all that, the fancy and the fanciful stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Put bullet in the right place. She's going to drop, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is absolutely. Yeah.
Just as simple as that.
But that was my Tuesday, man. Yeah, so that was it. That was
good stuff, man.
That was the only bit of hunting. I can't remember. I think I was out. I was out for a fox, I think, but I think we spoke about that in the last podcast. That was the last kind of bit of hunting I had actually done. Yeah.
Come here, if you feel a little bit better, do you think will you get out over the weekend, even on your own for now?
I probably will. I'd say I probably will Sunday, man. I might tip not too far away. I'm not too far away. I have something in my head now, and I'm kind of, you know what I'm talking about. But I just, I have my head, and I'm going to go balls out at for as long as I can. And then if I don't get it, I don't care. But at least I can say, well, I gave it me all.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Look, and there's only one way to get it is to go after it. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't take no for an answer, isn't that it?
Exactly, man. Without a doubt, yeah, exactly. What's the crack? You're heading out, so you're going to head out for a pheasant, will you?
Yeah, probably head out for a pheasant now. Look, at it, all things being equal, I wouldn't mind getting out for a deer.
Yeah.
But I look at, I don't know whether I'll be. Between there's things on with the kids at the weekend and stuff like that, and we've pheasants arriving in the club as well.
Okay.
On Saturday morning, 50 adult pheasants. Ed McAvoy's kindly dropping down 50 new birds to us, and we're just going to phase release them over the Christmas. So we'll have just a few birds going out every week over the Christmas.
Deadly stuff.
Yeah. So that as I previously spoke of, that was that fulfills the other half of not the other half of the club, but the traditional way that the club used to release pheasants just until we do the full crossover, and we're happy enough on our own 2 feet then. So and in fairness, Ed is looking after us. He's looking after us price wise and stuff like that, and they're good birds. Got some earlier on the year off him as well. So. Good. No, happy enough that. So yeah, I'll probably get out for a wander with the dog and see what's out there, and see, can I put up a pheasant first, and secondly, can I shoot it, which is more important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And well, I don't know what the weather's getting. I think it's wet Saturday, but I think it's kind of not to change a little bit after Saturday. I think the first half of Saturday is to be wet, but not too bad then after that, I think.
Yeah, please God, we get just even look at. I think I'm as stiff as a poker as the week goes on.
Yeah.
And I think I'll have to get out and get a bit of a loosen up before he sees up, that type of way.
Yeah. It has to be done, man. It has to be done. 110%. Come here, we do a bit of news?
We'll do a bit of news.
And now, for a roundup of what's going on around the country, it's the IHP News. And this section of the Irish Hunting Podcast is sponsored by Wild Hunter Athlone. Calling all Irish hunting enthusiasts, get ready for your hunting and fishing adventure with Wild Hunter Athlone. Immerse yourself in the rich tapestry of Ireland's wilderness as you embrace the spirit of the hunt. From the whispering woods to the rolling hills, Wild Hunter brings you closer to nature. Your next epic hunting experience awaits. Gear up, get out there, and let the thrill begin. Visit Wild Hunter Athlone and make your Irish hunting dreams a reality. Hunt wild and hunt free. And onward with the news, lad. Onward with the news.
On Newark.
On Newark, lad. Jeez, look at us. We're introducing a little bit of Irish to it and everything.
There you go.
I'm going to kick it off first. So this is on Tuesday, the 12th of December at 8 o'clock. At 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock. And it is TK Shooting Supplies. are doing an Infiray demo night in conjunction with Infiray and Highland Outdoors Ireland. So yeah, it's a come along, have a bit of a look. The venue is Ahaloonteen. Don't ask me how. Ahaloonteen. We always get ones with the weirdest names.
That sounds fucking Portuguese, man.
Honest to God, man. So it's Ahaloonteen, Laharden, Ballina, County Mayo. So yeah, that's on this Tuesday. I'll be down there myself as one of the brand ambassadors. So a savage opportunity to come along and have a look at some of the Infiray stuff. Of course, we will be talking about the Infiray on our Let's Talk Gear section a little bit later on. But yeah, that's a nice little one for a Tuesday evening if you're in the wider west of Ireland area or wherever. If you want to come down, a great opportunity to come down and say hello.
And if we are, I apologise for the linguistics shown there by my co-hosts. There's probably some outlet down there smoking a pipe after spitting a heap of whiskey out on the floor. What's some of the jobs you have for making the name of that place?
Making an absolute dog's dinner of it. Apologies.
Yeah. But anyway, we got there. We got there. And you'll be down there, of course, signing autographs, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I probably will, lad, now, but I have to.
Form an orderly queue now. Form an orderly queue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Women to the front. I know, I'm joking.
The Bull Maguire, that's going to stick with you now.
The Bull Maguire. I've been called worse. I've been fucking called. Holy shit. But yeah, that'll be an interesting one down there.
Good stuff. What do we have? Now this is obviously people who have been listening to the news.
I got sent this about 50 times today. Just put it
yeah, honest to God.
Yeah.
So, deer culling will go ahead due to growing population. The culling of deer will take place as recommended by a new report on managing wild deer populations. Minister for Agriculture, Food and Marine, Charlie McGonigal, has said. We obviously look at this going to split the hunting communities.
Yep.
Because some people believe, it's a bad thing, other people believe it's a good thing. And yeah, whether extending the hunting seasons and in what capacity and so on and so forth. And obviously then there'll be the commercialization, I suppose, of hunting, which I think I speak for both of us. I think when I say we don't particularly want to see it go that way.
No.
Much more. Should be, I think, unless it's like the, obviously we're after coming from a, what would you say, a very strategically run hunting country, but here it's just slightly different where it's always been that you can you get the nod from the farmer and on you go, and that's been the way, but that seems to be about to change, I think, so it's unfortunate in that regard, but hopefully it doesn't change it too bad, and hopefully I think that everyone, like the fear, I think, Brenny, that we'd have here is that it will create conflict and division, and even more than what's already there. But because you'll have lads trying to get in other people's land because look, the deer are coming from there, and that's the problem there, and sure they're not looking after them. We look at this.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't come to that. Everyone stays respectful, and
I think my biggest fear would be that where you would get these groups, these splinter groups or organizations that would get together and try and take my land and your land and Christy Malloy's land and Ross McQuaid's land and Rob Tracy's land and fuck us out of it and take it for themselves. That's what my biggest fear would be. And that's where my biggest fear. And let it be a warning to everyone. If we get wind that there's people doing that, we will name every single one of them on this podcast.
Yeah.
If we get word that people are backhandedly going and spreading misinformation with regard to being from various organizations or departments and claiming that landowners must hand up the land to them, will be brought out. We'll name it. Well, sorry, I'll name you.
You'll be in the black book. You'll be in the black book.
In the black book. No, we're not all in this together. We're in serious trouble.
No, absolutely. No, well said. Look, I think we have to stand firm and kind of respect each other. Nonetheless, there's plenty of shooting for everyone. Personally, I think if it's done correctly, I would be probably in favor. Obviously, something has to be done. So something has to be done. But I'd hate to see the pendulum go from fully left to fully right, and it's just an all-out kind of um, uh, flat-out cull,
Yeah.
I'd much rather see it done gradually, uh, respectful of the animals. But we don't want to see is the arse falling out of the price of meat, and then fucking deer's just been shot and left there. You know what I mean? So that's the worry, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's also another thing to it. I'm just thinking about there today that it's kind of worrying that I think if people get a sense that deer are vermin, or they're going to be, there's a general consensus across the different government bodies and agencies that the more deer that's shot, the better. I think what that'll play into then is a lot of people will say that don't have licenses, that don't have the right calibers, that don't have the proper certification, and go, look at, they don't give a shit. They're more than they just want the deer shots, or fuck it.
Yeah.
Going, sure, no one's going to say anything. Sure, they're mad for people to shoot them, so why would they bother? So I think you have to be very careful if you put it into that kind of context. I think that is an opinion that could be,
misconstrued, isn't that it?
Yeah, definitely. I think we have to remember that our deer are sacred and they're a fantastic, fantastic thing to have in Ireland, and it's beautiful to see them in their natural habitats and to have the opportunity to go out and hunt them and get some meat, and never lose sight of the fact that how important that is,
Yeah.
and not to just go like, there's a load of things I have an issue with. The cull, like, if it's what animals are we talking about here? Are we really thinking of like putting a no limit cull on red deer? Do you know when they're so sparsely populated? Right, they might be dense in numbers in certain areas, but that's not what this legislation is, as far as I can see, is stating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully there's a little bit more thought and effort put into it. I think, look, coming from, again, and we'll speak in more detail later on, but we're you have to come back from a country where we've probably seen more deer and more wildlife than we're ever going to see in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And with minimal impact to local farmers, local communities. Do you know what I'm saying? And contrary to that is a very big, what would you say, contributor to local communities and stuff like that over there. So
absolutely.
And obviously, like that's a model that suits that country and so on. But I think you can pick lessons from it. They sow certain crops to attract certain animals and keep them away from other crops and so on. And this has been passed down from generation to generation. So we can learn. I'm not saying that that's a solution, but there's a couple of solutions that you could utilize. It's not just just go out there and sure give the boys an extra 4 months of the year, let them shoot the arse off them there, and until such time as the numbers are low enough that you can say, nah, they're too low now, lads. No more shooting,
Do the real Irish thing. Say keep going at it until the farmers stop and people stop complaining about the deer numbers. And then it gets to a stage to go, oh geez, we need to stop. There's nothing left, and then by that stage it's too late.
It's like everything in this country, isn't it? It's like the building, it goes from, boom to bust, and that it'll be similar with this. It's going to be, if it's not done correctly, I think is the thing. There seems to be very little scientific, from my reading of it, very, very little scientific input as to, like for instance, we should be looking at data, figures, numbers, like by extending by a month. How will that impact deer numbers over 5 years? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are the type of numbers we should be seeing and saying, look, it's right. By doing this by a month, over the space of 5 years, we're going to see them drop by, say, 100,000 head, and that'll bring everything back into line. Or it might take, extended by 2 months, but it seems to be just a kind of a bit of a jab on the dartboard,
Yeah,
we'll see how this goes. Now, I'm sure there's people after sitting down and spending a bit of time on this, but there's some people who want it more than others, and that's the worry,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As I say, I would just worry that is is there a certain portion of people going in their consideration for this? Are they thinking of hunters and deer as a species, and I suppose the benefits? I don't know if you can say benefits. Like, is someone going, well, lads, we don't just want to mow deer here. We just want to, we need to preserve them and just control the numbers. Get that fucking word cull out,
Yeah.
of it, you know. So look, that's will.
Time
But
will tell. Look, unfortunately, we've very little input in it.
yeah,
People who seem to be far more educated than us and well thought of are doing that. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes, as to say.
yeah, man. That's it. That's it. We'll just have to play up here. Last but by no means least, big breaking news. Breaking news just in, lad.
Do
The IHP 24-hour challenge is a
it's
go.
back.
It's back, man. It's going
Actually,
to
going
be
to be bigger and better.
bigger and better than ever. It's going to be a lot more accessible to a lot more people. So basically, anyone that we're going to talk more about at the end of this podcast, but anyone with a fishing rod or a gun or a snare or anything will be able to take part in this. So yeah, we're going to do it the same day again. We'll talk about more about it at the end of this, but that's the big news for this week.
Deadly. Can't wait, Bernie.
We talk a little bit about our old trip to Hungary, do you think?
Oh, the whole thing, I suppose. Sure, we might as well.
Might as well, lad. Here we go. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, lad.
Yeah, man, it seems so long ago, but yeah, it seems very, very, very real and very recent in another way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. The body is telling us it's very recent. But yeah, it's as far away as ever now, you know.
Yeah, honest to God, yeah. But what an experience, I suppose, first and foremost. My God, it was all
Epic.
I ever thought it would be, and an awful lot more, you know.
It was deadly. I think both you and I said this. We actually said this. We were having a discussion about the fishing trip last year, you know, and I think you mentioned it. Kind of when you're in the middle of it, you don't really appreciate it, or probably just don't get to, you know, to fully, because you're concentrating and moving and obviously then with the podcast you're trying to get content and keep everyone up to date. So it's not really that you're in the moment at that moment, but it's afterwards when you probably sit down and kind of get the chance to reflect. And every time I even think about it, you know, it's big smile comes on your face. Like it's just what an experience. I'd recommend it for anyone that can get to do it. Go and do it. You know, it's absolutely savage, and it's not. I think we both say this. It's not. How would you say? It's not your sun, sea, and sand holiday. It's a battle of you against yourself, against the elements, against the animal, against, you know, every inkling of thought that's, you know, wants you to quit or give up or take the easy road, all that kind of stuff and more. And I think it's so worth it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more.
From start to finish, what like smiling.
Well, that was good, yeah. Smiling is right. So suppose we'll start off. We left. When did we fly out? Jesus Christ, my head's gone. Wednesday.
Yeah, we left Wednesday. We left from base here.
Had the tea in your place?
Had the old tea. You don't trust Avril's cooking, so you wouldn't have the old breakfast.
No, that's not true. If I thought it was Avril that cooked it, I would have. But I thought it was you that was doing the cooking. So.
Or that's what it was it? Wink, wink. Yeah, no problem. I'll cover that one for you, buddy. I'll cover that one for you, no problem. But yeah, we had a cup of tea here, and then we into the van, up to the
big smoke. We were great. We were given a lovely little gift from yourself, which came in unbelievably handy. I'd actually go so far as to say, if I had not got it on the first night, I might have called it a little bit early.
Would you? There you go.
I might have. And they gave us lovely little Newbridge silverware hip flasks, topped up nicely with a drop of Jameson. And my God, were they were used.
And a big shout out actually to Mrs. Grogan there. She my mum kindly filled them with some of the finest Jameson, and she picked them up for me as well. So big thanks to her as well.
Absolute star, Gwen, an absolute star. So yeah, up to the airport, guns and all. That was kind of the thing we were all kind of, I suppose, a little bit apprehensive about. None of us had ever really travelled with guns before.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Untethered and Wanderwise, where adventure has no age limit. We're your co-host, Heidi Brandis and Nikki Mahundro, and we're here to inspire and celebrate women over 45 who are embracing their independence and want to explore the world on their own terms.
Yeah, and right up until, I think you got your approval slightly earlier than me and Rob
Yeah.
Probably somebody up in the airport knew me and Rob. But there was, yeah, we I think it was late actually, Tuesday night. By the time we got kind of approval back, I was on the way back actually from Dom's, and I had to pull in and send an email. So
yeah. So I suppose, So when Annie's saying approval there, so basically, supposed to go through a little bit of the process. Obviously, when we wanted to bring firearms to Hungary, and we were all adamant that we wanted to have our own guns out there because they were all new to us, and we've some good gear this year, and we wanted to use it, have it there with us, and I think it's nice to reflect on the hunt with the rifle. Do you know what I mean? It's nice to go, Hungary, and I just think it's
absolutely.
I think it's nice. So I suppose kicking it off, obviously we had our rifles, we had our licenses, but to get to Europe and to bring it outside the country, you need to apply for a European firearms license, which is free and very, very straightforward. You just basically go up to the guard station with a couple of passport photos, your Irish license, a couple of details, I think, on the trip or where you're going with it, and it really is as simple as that, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's probably one of the most painless exercises you'll do, because and a big shout out to our local station as well, which I think both of us found very, very helpful, and the process was really, really seamless and quick.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, without a doubt, yeah. So I suppose once you have that, then obviously we had our flights booked, but then you have to notify the airline, and it's very important to do this. I suppose before you book any flights, certain airlines, don't take it for granted that all airlines will carry guns, because I think you'll find out probably a lot of them actually won't, regardless of what Europeans license or cases or whatever you have. They just have I know Ryanair, as far as I'm aware, is one of them. They just won't transport firearms.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. You have to. Here's the little bit of a. What would you say? The thing that could be probably done a little bit better from the airline perspective. Yeah. You kind of have to wait for 48 hours before the flight, I think. Isn't that what they're saying? To notify them, that you tend to bring your firearms on. It's the fee for kind of oversized luggage, I think, is somewhere between 50 to 80 quid, depending on weight and stuff like that. And obviously, you have to have your airline your gun case that's fit to be carried on an airline. And we got, I think all three of us actually had Mauser ones, gun cases, which they have a little code on them, and they also have a little lock. I think that's a necessity.
Yeah.
And then your ammunition, you have to notify them how much ammunition in terms of amount of rounds, caliber, and the weight of that. That has to be stored in a separate lockable box. We got little kind of money boxes.
Yep.
And we notified them 40 rounds was in around, I think, 2.5 kg, if I'm not mistaken, but it has to be under 5 kg, I think, Bernie, isn't that it?
Correct and right. Yes. Yep.
So, and then, Jesus, man, from then, all the worry, I think, the biggest hassle was getting in and off the shuttle bus, I think.
Get a few funny looks when you're driving in, because in the gas, people, with no stickers written on it, but they knew what was in those cases, I think.
Yeah, they knew they were fishing rods anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was kind of looking and going, geez, what's the story here with these guys? But yeah, that's very, very straightforward, I suppose. Like, just to mention quickly on it, when we say you have to notify them, there's a special area on the Aer Lingus website, and it's called a special assistance form. Now, you could be confused because it's the same area and the same form you'd fill out if you were somebody that had a disability or you were looking for mobility assistance or something like that. There's not a drop-down box for firearm, but you just fill in the information, flight date, time, the firearm you're bringing, the serial number of it, your name, address, basic stuff like that, and send it off, and then somebody from the airline will get back to you. And if there's any issues or special things they want done, that's where they'll notify you, and they'll give you a case reference number, which is very important, which we found in Budapest was very, very important.
Very essential, yeah. And we have to probably just as well, we had a little bit of a hiccup because depending on who you get on the phone, I think.
Oh yeah, this was hilarious. Yeah, me and you got the same fella, I think, didn't we?
Well, it was yourself and Rob, I think, got the same guy. Yeah. Well, we presume. We can only presume.
Yeah, because I rang them Was it a day or two before? A day before, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And this gentleman said to me, "Oh no, you can't bring planes, or you can't bring firearms on our flights." And I said, "Oh, Jenny, your website says different here, buddy." And he was completely unbeknownst to it. So he had, "I'll come back to you," and he did, and he said, "Apologies, I was wrong. You can bring them on the plane, but you have to do X, Y, or Z." But and then wasn't it gas when we get into Dublin Airport? We parked the van, got our gear, got into the terminal, and then we asked one woman who was kind of Aer Lingus. She wasn't on the desk, but she was kind of helping out. We said, like, we want to check in firearms. Where do we go? And she says, just go to the normal check-in. So we said, happy days. And didn't I say to you, I think I said it to you or Rob, when we were just in the queue, I said, what is the bet? The people that'll be checking in our bags, it'll be their first day on the job.
I think we got out of 3 people. I think 2 of them. First. Yeah,
it was their very first day on the job. So that was some crack.
And the gas thing about it is, you can imagine, right? We're coming up along in the queue, and obviously because we had to book in additional luggage, we booked the advantage fare, which is the so you got kind of priority check-in and boarding and stuff. So we were kind of coming up all together up to one queue, and as we were coming to the top of the queue, you could see all the eyes were starting. So you can imagine, like, three guys with guns, and Ross with his suitcase on his shoulder.
We'll get into that in a minute. Yeah,
arriving up to the desk with bags, guns, and ammunition. But look, I think we met one of the, lucky enough, one of the guys that was well experienced in this. He just, I think the three ladies at the 3 check-in desks, basically it worked out perfect, because he was able to start the process in one and then just stream it out across the 3, and we pretty much it was very seamless after that, wasn't it?
It really was, man. It was a piece of cake. It was just like, I didn't even have to open the case. Just put the stickers on it, and then what we do? Okay, just put the stickers on it. Took in all our checked baggage, and then escorted us up to another place where the oversized baggage went, and that was it. In they went. No worries, no worries.
And then we were able to kick back and chill out.
Yeah, just going back on Ross with the suitcase on the shoulder. Just typical Ross. He's just a big, hairy baby. That's exactly what he is. You know what I mean? He found a suitcase in his flat, and he doesn't know who owns it, but the suitcase was absolutely fallen asunder, and the 2 wheels were seized solid on it, and they were worn down to nothing. So you had McQuaid coming in with the leather kangaroo hat, the big beard, the big woolly blood pressure heading him, with a suitcase thrown up on his shoulder like a bag of cement.
He's like Crocodile Bundy.
That's the chase, lad. Walking through Dublin Airport, and you could see people, and he had to tell people, the wheels are bollocks to it. Oh my God.
Yeah, and not alone with the wheels, there was a big burst in the bottom of the bag, man. You could see his jocks nearly sticking out in the bottom of the bag.
Every time he threw it on the ground, there was lumps of rust and yolks falling out. It was cat.
Oh, it was horrendous.
Oh man, it was cat.
And he just literally threw it up on the carousel, and he could have gave a shy what happened to it. But anyway, it went through.
It went through. He did not give one shy what happened to it. But so that was it, man. Up to you, which was the first for me. We had access to the Aer Lingus lounge because we went with the advantage. So up us fucking behemoths went up into the Aer Lingus lounge and chase free food and drink and the whole lot. So that was mighty crap, wasn't it?
And we true to form, it was advantage fair, and we took full advantage of it, man.
We took full advantage of it. No, I can't say any different. You're right with it. Huh?
We started well, you boys were drinking wine or drinking beer, and myself and the other fella were drinking fine wine over the far side.
Yeah.
trying to blend in.
I was all blended in, man.
No, there wasn't. No,
you did, because you were quite dapperly dressed, but
I dressed up for the occasion, but I thought everyone else was going to the stuff. But unfortunately, I was the only one with that idea.
No,
got sandwiches and sure, like what more do you want? Gin and tonic.
McQuaid sniffed out all the chocolate cakes and ice creams and buns and yolks. He mowed the whole lot of them, and sure, we had a few Heineken then. But then we decided we needed a few large bottles. So true Irish form, well, we did because the other 2 weeks were smoking, so we had to focus.
Smoking area.
Turn one and out and threw a few drinks into us and down then and on the plane, and the party was only getting started as you and Rob.
Yeah, well, look, as the two youngest members of the crew, we knew no better. So
youngest, yeah.
So we kicked back and look, the wine was lovely, man, and we started to have a few more wines and a bit of gin and tonic, and we ate, I don't know how many buckets of Pringles, I think, between the whole lot of us there.
Yeah, and Twixes, and then you had more gin and tonics and
more gin and tonics, yeah.
few more gin and tonics.
A few more. And I tell you one thing, man, the heat in the plane, it's thirsty work, isn't it?
It is thirsty work, all right.
Thirsty work, man. Thirsty work.
It was some crack. I think it's suffice to say, yeah, you and Rob, but probably, to be honest, mostly you were fairly jarred by the time we got to so much so, and I turned around to you at one stage, you were just there laughing. And then the penny dropped, like, oh shit, where's my luggage? It's just this one pack of luggage just left in the middle of the arrival hall at Budapest airport. I said, I'd say that's it there.
I was in full till I was just man, I love this hunting crack. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And like that, you were looking at me, where's your bag? I said, oh fuck. I look around, here's just one suitcase right in the middle of the fucking aisle.
Yeah.
I don't know how I even left it there, but
looked fairly suspicious.
Oh. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then we got to meet there's a kind of like an officer over there that greets you through and opens the gun cases, checks the serial numbers against your licenses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And thank God I held it together going through that.
You did.
And well, kind of, because I came halfway out with that and forgot the luggage again. I was coming out with the gun case and the ammunition.
Oh, gee.
And forgot to I had to run back in. I said, sorry about that now. You know, he was kind of half smiling.
Yeah.
And then we went outside, and by Jesus, man, the first thing that hit me anyway was the temperature differentials when you come off that.
Yeah, it was cold, man. It was cold the whole time we were there, I think, in fairness.
Yeah.
It was cold. We were lucky then the hotel was, we walked to the hotel. It was only literally right in front of us.
Did we walk to the hotel? We did, yeah.
We did that. Do you not remember that? Oh, the Lord.
I don't actually remember walking to the hotel. Would you believe that?
Are you serious? Yeah.
I don't. And that's terrible. I didn't think I was that drunk, but I don't remember walking to the hotel.
Walked straight down to the Ibris Hotel there in Budapest, man. Yeah. And God, it was the longest check-in ever. But the Lord Jesus, your mom was typing for about 40 minutes and what she was putting into it. But yeah.
Got there in the end.
Got there. Good feed. Yous had a heap more drink. Me and Ross being the fucking clever individuals that we are. We called it night around probably 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, we had a lovely burger. The fucking nice burger. I remember that now, all right. And we had a couple of glasses of wine with the dinner.
Yep.
And then we had a couple of drinks at the bar, I think, and you two boys headed off around 11, half 11, was it?
Yeah. Thereabouts, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. And me and the other fella crawled into bed, I think somewhere between 1:30 and 2:15 or something.
Yeah. I'm just going to say one thing, right? This is live on the podcast. When myself and McQuaid went into the room, the two beds were together. The first thing we did, lad, was push them as far away as we could. And
which is you could be falling off. Myself and the other fella pushed them together.
I know. But the next morning, I said, "Geez, I called you last night."
I said, "What sort of need you put two single beds in this?" So I asked for a double bed.
Yeah.
I know.
Classic.
I don't think we even noticed, man.
It was gas because when we were going to bed, the head on you would just look like you were fit for a sleep. And the other fella now, he was getting jarred. All right, you knew he was mad for devilment, like. But I didn't think it would be. But you did, you little party animals. You gave it socks.
Yeah, and by God was I sick the next morning, man.
Yeah, you looked shook, man. You did. Very shook.
Yeah. I think what made it kind of worse was, do you know the way you just want, when you're like that now, you want a nice cup of tea and a slice of toast and marmalade or something like that, something or a sausage. If you got a bit of sausage sandwich into you,
Yeah.
And I went up to the Oak, and here was, hot dogs and
Yeah.
some kind of like fried rice thing, and what
Yeah.
else?
Which was weird. Yeah, fried rice. Then there was a lot of there was obviously your pastries and yogurts and all that sort of jazz, but the hot food was weird. It was definitely weird.
Yeah, and there was meats and stuff, which I probably, if I wasn't after doing the dog on it, you probably, you would have nibbled at them.
Yeah.
I tried to get a slice of toast, but the toast was kind of sweet. I obviously picked one of the wrong.
Yeah.
And the butter was salty and sweet, and oh Jesus, man! I said, I can't do this. So
World problems right there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, went up and got a bowl of cereal, and the other fella said to me, "Come on, you have to go outside now to freshen you up."
Yeah.
And I had a t-shirt on me, man, and
Oh my God, was it cold?
was it cold?
Oh.
But
next thing, the snow started to fall. By Jez, was it falling fairly rapid?
that's the one thing I noticed there. Like when and I think Rob said, "Oh, it's sticking." Snow falls and it snows, man. We looked out that morning and you could see everything, and within an hour, everyone was white, literally white.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was. Myself and the Bow McQuaid decided we'd go and pick up the car, leave you guys to, because we're the Snouts, we're the friends that we are.
So McQuaid came back with the car on his shoulder.
yeah. Honest to God, the big egot. We headed over down, and it was actually great. It was great service and all. Rang the crowd, we were renting the car off. They picked us up at the airport. Now, it was snowing like mad at this stage. Drove us five minutes down the road to the rental car, filled in a bit of paperwork. Looked at the car. I was like, oh, it's just grand, lovely. That's a nice little car and the whole lot. And drove back to the hotel and of course, on the left-hand side and all that sort of jazz. And it kind of did dawn on me a little bit when I picked up the car. I was like, geez, it's not that big. But not really, not enough for me to go, oh, shit. No, I think we fucked up here. And it didn't actually, the penny didn't drop until we went back to the hotel and we had all our luggage and we says, right, we'll head off. And I suppose bearing in mind that we had 3 hours of a drive at this stage ahead of us down to Nayatad and Labod. And
this is the first time that I had seen it. So when I was coming across the car park, it was pelting snow. You were kind of going, the head down into the wind and trying to, avoid the snow in your face. And I kind of looked up at one stage, and you two boys were kind of slightly ahead of us. And I was looking at it, and I said, "No, that's not it," because he did say it was like a sports MPV type.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it? Like, I was looking around, and in the middle was this little fucking grey thing. And I was, no, that's definitely not it. And I was looking from side to side, and then as sure as eggs, as you say, Brenny, the two is beep beep. This thing opened up. Oh well, like to put in context.
Yeah,
3 suitcases standing.
Yeah,
was the whole of the boot, the back seat or the back window.
Yeah,
everything. That was it.
The penny had me when I opened up the boot, and my big suitcase when I sat that in, and it like took up like the whole of nearly the boot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just looked around and was like, oh, boys, I don't think this is going to work.
So we had to do a little bit of Lego work.
I think we have to do Lego work, but that was absolutely shocking. That was shocking.
So we had three big suitcases in the boot. We had the kind of the small, what would you say, underseat luggage, then rammed tight up to the back window and closed that down. We put another big suitcase in between me and Rob.
Yeah.
Us two had to sit in, and then across our lap, we kind of slid in the 3 gun cases, which brought us probably to within a foot of the ceiling. Yeah. And then we jammed another bag in from the front on top of that.
Another suitcase.
And then Big Easy had 2 hand luggages on top, one on top of the other, on top of him. And
a little suitcase.
Yeah. So, oh, Jesus, man, that was tight.
That was tight. Because in fairness, we did ring the rental company when we had all this in. We were like, just any chance of a bigger car? And your man says, no, we don't have anything. So
no.
This is going to have to work. How the fuck we're going to do it? But
off we set.
It was off we set, man. Nice little 3-hour drive. Drove about an hour and a half, pulled into a petrol station and got a bit of grub and the whole job lot. And interesting countryside. I think you'd agree. It's
absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Not overly dissimilar to here, just on a much larger scale, I suppose. Would that be fair to say?
Funny enough, I was actually thinking that as well, Bernie. You know, it's kind of dominated by pockets of big, large swathes of agriculture, and then pockets of kind of city life. So yeah, not too dissimilar from here. And
Yeah.
even in terms of the people and stuff like that, I found them very similar.
Yeah.
Good, honourable, decent people, and so on. So
Yeah.
and I like that. Very, very good. Like the services, like the service stops were just like fucking restaurants, weren't they? You could,
Phenomenal. The food.
yeah.
We didn't know what any of it was, but it looked fucking good, man. A lot of it looked really good, didn't it?
No, absolutely, yeah. And we had a little bit of a sandwich and a cup of tea and a few snacks. Then we started to kind of perk up then. So yeah, we were getting back into the swing of things, and yeah, sure. That was half the journey gone, and bit of crack coming down.
Exactly. So we headed off the rest of the way, about another hour and a half down, till we got to the town of Nyatad. Nyatad is a town of, I think Yanis said, am I right? Did he say about 10,000 people in it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, look, it's the most average town. It's like something you'd see here, I suppose. Probably the houses, I'd say, would be a bit more kind of, the majority of them would be, what would you say? I'd say there's a little bit more poverty. I don't know if that's the word to use.
Yeah, they're probably the houses are probably a little bit of an older style in around the countryside. Kind of remind you kind of traditional Ireland, that type of thing.
Yeah,
nice, clean, and
absolutely,
probably a little bit more from an era gone by. If you get me,
exactly. It's an awful lot of older cars and stuff like that on the road. Nothing goes to waste. But in we went, and I think we were kind of, I don't know, we probably weren't too sure what to expect. We didn't exactly know the plan. Yanis, of course, was already down there. He had been there for a couple of days. He got his unbelievable stag, which might
fantastic.
Get him on the podcast one of the days, and he can talk about that. So we literally jumped out of the car. We met Yanis at the place. There was a slight change of plan. We were supposed to be staying in a kind of a little house, kind of in the woods. And then there was an issue with, I think, a water pump there or something. So we stayed in another hunting lodge just on the outskirts of the town. So it was literally out, landed, parked the car, get out, load up empty out the gear and the whole lot. And Yana says, if you're ready, we're going to go straight away. So he says, you didn't need to ask us twice, man. So that was it. We fucking got changed, didn't we? Loaded up our gear, set up our rifles, and met with
straight out.
Yeah, met with Yanis's father-in-law, who's also Yanis, and his good friend Baloo, and broke up into teams of 2, I suppose, or 4, whatever way you look at it. And headed out, man, and it was fucking class.
It was unbelievable. They to put it in context, I think is it 100,000 hectares?
Yeah,
Yanis's father-in-law. Overseas, I think that's in around. I think
there's 100,000 acres in total. I think it's split up between them. I think he's about 10,000. I think
10,000 hectares. Sorry, 100,000. That's sorry,
No, that's hectares as well. Remember, that's so whatever that is. Yeah.
So, like, it's just swathe after swathe of you've mixture of like forestry. Yeah. You've stubble crop. You have there's very little standing crop now, but you've kind of like little pockets of, where I presume it might have been either too wet or machinery couldn't get or whatever. You kind of like standing, a little bit of kind of standing crop that's kind of, starting to lean over, that kind of stuff, stubbly ground.
Yeah.
And you've young forestry meeting onto old forestry, high seats everywhere. Is the only way I can fucking describe it. On every field, in every corner, there's a high seat.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just, like, you're driving down kind of dirt roads, isn't it? And full rangers, man. Like, literally, like you said this as well, there's some pilots. Like Yanis's father, I think he's 70, is he?
He's 67. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we're on 7, and he's there one-handed, talking on the phone, driving a dirt road. And this yoke would get, when I say fully sideways or on its side, you know what I mean? You'd be hanging onto the door yourself, and he never lost a rev.
No.
And there's some machines for for stick, aren't they? The Rangers, mother of God.
Unbelievable. They're the older 0506 Ranger. My God, man.
Brilliant job.
Where
Brilliant.
lads put them, they just plowed through it. No hassle.
Yeah, brilliant.
Phenomenal. So you went off with yourself and Rob went with Yanis's father-in-law.
Yeah, and I thought like we were going to be kind of sitting in the one high seat and one looking out one way, one looking out the other. But Yanis's father has very little English, but enough that we can kind of converse and so two of us went to get out with the high seat. He just pull up this high seat. When I say in the middle of nowhere, we were driving for 15 minutes, man. Actually, when we came off the road, and got into this place, and there's not a light to be seen. There's not. The only thing you can kind of see, well, from where I was, the high seat, when you're up in the high seat, you could see in the distance behind me, there was a kind of like a roadway of some description. You could see the odd light going down it.
Okay.
But other than that, you're in complete and utter wilderness. And Rob got to get out, and Jan said, "No, one up." So you're there on your own, up the high seat. We had a little backpack, a cup of coffee in the backpack.
Yeah,
you're going light, binos, and this is what time is that? It was about 3 or 4. Was it 4?
It was closer to 4, I'd say.
Yeah,
because we landed. Yeah, by the time we got everything, I'd say it was closer to 4 o'clock. I'd say
4. Yeah, so up into the high seat, and then Yanis's father-in-law brought Rob on down further, a good bit further, because I could see the lights kind of disappearing miles and miles away. And he just said before we go, "What time you want to finish?" And I think we said 8:30, 9 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was there saying, "Oh, geez, maybe we should go till 10 o'clock." Fuck me, was I delighted. But 8:30, 8:45, I see lights coming, but. Yeah, so open to a high seat, small little roof on it. Ladders tend to be shook, so you kind of keep one leg. Especially, I was thinking to myself, I wonder, there was a lad who built these. Did he have me in mind when he was building them? You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to throw the gun up, the gun case up into the seat and the bag and the whole lot, and then up into the tree stand, and just. The first thing that got me was just the array of wildlife. You know what I mean? You have, I think we both heard it. Woodpeckers in the background. You've pheasants getting up around you. You've duck coming into small little ponds.
Yeah.
You can hear the rustling of pigs and coyotes, and you know what I'm saying. It's just the sounds. It's just, I think, I until probably today. I was just speaking about it today. You're up there on your own, and I think obviously you had a lot of time to think, but you find out a lot about yourself, man, when you're it's you against the wilderness and very little else. It's if you've just you and your thoughts, there's no one to comfort you, or there's nobody coming back till 8:30. So it's no matter how cold you get, you're there. It's game over. So but look, fantastic from my aspect. The action, I think Yanis had said to us before we went out, like we said, when the boars start to come out, give them a little opportunity to feed, because they're sketchy enough. If you put the torch on them straight away. So with that in mind, I think I told you guys, it was kind of like there was a flat area in front of me, about maybe 200 yards, maybe 250 yards, and then it just kind of. Well, I didn't notice till kind of afterwards, until animals started to come out, because I didn't know where they were going. They were fucking disappearing, but it's kind of like a little bit of a ledge, and they were using. There was a little kind of a runway behind that from one forestry to the other, so I could see little glimmers, banging across the top line of that. From time to time, but this particular animal came out from the right hand side of the wood, came up, and then I was looking at him. I said, "Oh, that's and I bear in mind I haven't seen a wild boar. I don't know, can't distinguish a female from a male. And as the trip went on, we all learned that kind of stuff. But from word go, so I had the rifle ready, and literally just disappeared. And I said, where the fuck is he have to go into? Thought he'd come back out.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in hindsight, if I was landing back over today and that happens, I'll pull the trigger, but I was a little bit just slow off the mark. Now, all in all, by the time he comes out till the time he was gone, maybe 20, 25 seconds, but still enough time that you get to pull on him. But just trying to get thinking, oh, there's one now. There's going to be 4 or 5 behind him. You know what I mean? And then nothing for another hour. So I spent the whole hour then beat myself. Oh fuck it, that was your chance now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then on the right hand side of me, a young wood. You can kind of see through it as the light was fading. You can see through it. You can see shadows, and the deer, man,
unreal.
The roe deer were fucking sketching through this thing.
Yeah,
like it's hard to comprehend, isn't it, for anyone that's listening, the amount of roe deer that's over there, isn't it? Like they probably think we're lying, telling, but they're just everywhere.
Everywhere. Absolutely fucking everywhere. I've never seen as many roe deer ever.
Fantastic to see.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They're phenomenal to see. Yeah.
And I seen what I think was what I think now was a red doe to my right hand side, in between, grazing off the branches.
Yeah.
And then what I now know is a coyote coming out. I didn't know, again, just ignorance. Didn't know what a coyote moves like, what he looks like in the thermal. So yeah, got to experience that. They sit up on their back legs, and one of them came out. There was what I now know is a wildcat. Didn't even fucking know they existed.
No.
So over there's these big feral cats, literally. So and they're in good numbers, because I think, well, I see one every night.
Yeah.
I think Rob's seen a couple. I think you've seen one as well, did you?
I didn't see one, actually. No.
You don't see one, no.
No.
Badgers, and then probably close on, I'd say it was coming near the tail end of my hunt that evening. Heard a kind of rustling. It was right behind me, over my right shoulder. There was a kind of remnants of a lodge. Now, again, I didn't know, or I didn't think to ask even, is this lodge inhabited? Is it like a hunting lodge? There's people in it, they're coming going. And then obviously behind that, then maybe 2 fields away, there's a road. So I heard rustling behind me, and again, picked up the thermal. And what I now know was a big boar, because it was on its own.
Yeah.
Literally came out in between the wood and where that lodge was, and there was a roadway where we were after coming up to get to here, dipped over that and into the next field, and away with him. And that's literally how they were moving, from my perspective, how I seen them for the most part of the trip anyway.
Yes.
But then Yanis's dad came along, collected me, and then went in, drove another 10, 15 minutes into Rob, and he was even in a more secluded area than I was.
Yeah.
And then we had it was like, what did you see? What did you see? I said this. And this is stochastic, because he'll be listening to this, and so I'll have to come clean. He did say, man, I think I seen like a big cat. And I was there. It's a fucking coyote, man. That's what they call them over here. I was giving the whole educated thing,
Yeah.
And he said, no, it was a cat. And it was a big motherfucking cat. And I said, here, man, this wilderness, this on solitary thing, man, he's after driving him mad. He's got brain freeze.
Yeah.
So completely dismissed it. But he didn't get to see much, I don't think. I think he actually got to see a coyote and a wildcat.
Yeah.
And that was it. I think a couple of deer, I think, kind of passing, but that was it.
Yes. Yeah. So that was your kind of
that was our experience.
first night wrapped up. Yeah. Yeah.
So You were dropped off where, Bernie?
Yeah, a long ways away too. It was a good owl spin away down a maze of back roads. And we were down in kind of along the edge of a kind of a big wood. And basically we just came up to walk down along one bit of a sown field down towards a wood. Now it's the woods out there are a lot different than here because they're not like your standard like pine trees and stuff. They're more like a hardwood and a lot of oak trees and stuff. But the distances in between them are maybe 20 foot, which is unusual. It's almost eerie in a weird way.
It is, yeah.
It's just these long lines of these trees and nothing in between them. It is eerie. But yeah, we came to a spot. And then we came up and it was like a river basically, and Ross and Baloo went to the right-hand side, the left-hand side, and myself and Yanis went to the right-hand side. And like that, just walked down a little bit. And actually the first thing that dawned on me before I saw any wild boar was the amount of pheasants.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Unbelievable. They're absolutely everywhere. And I said, Yanis, does no one shoot them? He said, no, fucking no. No, no one gives a shit about shooting pheasants. I was like, fucking hell, man. They were everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
And they were cool. Did you know as well, but like they were, as we were driving down, they were roosting up in the trees now, which is cool. Like they were coming down out of the trees and kind of flying in front of the Jeep, which is like fantastic to see.
Exactly, and definitely, obviously, a testament to why they're so successful because they're all roosting,
Yeah.
So yeah, we headed down. It was kind of cold now at this stage. This was probably around 4:30, so it was actually kind of nippy enough at that stage, down to a tree stand, kind of where we were. There was kind of there was one open area slightly to the front of us, but it was kind of, how would you say, it was like a section of forest that had been cleared maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So a lot of stuff had grown in the meantime over it, but the actual cloud line was clear, if that makes sense. So it made seeing Anton tricky enough. Not seeing Anton, like, obviously, we all had thermal. We all had handheld thermal. That's just another little thing you drop in there. If you're going out there hunting, don't go without a thermal. It's probably a fucking waste of time, in my opinion.
But yeah, if you're going for 3 or 4 days, you're going to need it, because unless you're going there for a couple of weeks and you're willing to put in some real hard yards,
Yeah, definitely. I think you definitely need your thermal. So yeah, got up into our tree stand, same as you. She was a bit dodgy, but we got up there anyway, myself and Yanis, and started glassing straight away. It's just like that raw buck, man. Raw bucks and hinds just everywhere. They were absolutely everywhere. Seen a couple of big reds, all hinds. They were phenomenal to see. Looking, kind of then as the night progressed, it just got colder and colder. A coyote broke on the left-hand side of us. So where our high seat was, it was literally kind of just on the edge of a forest laneway. So we had the bit that we could see in front of us, and then we only had the width of a laneway either side of us. So you're talking maybe 20, 25 foot. So if something came out, you'd have to be fairly quick on the trigger.
Yeah.
So a coyote came out and broke across the road. I didn't even really get a chance to look at it. Saw him in the thermal, but he was in the woods at this stage, so I didn't get a shot at him. I'd say probably around about 7:30 then, I think, about 400 yards away, an almighty crack of an unforgettable crack or an unmistakable crack of a 30-06 with no suppressor on it. And I knew, well, it was Ross that was on the other end of that. So quick text from him, and he was sure enough he was after getting himself his boar. So myself and Yanis stuck it out for about another hour. And then he says, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go for a little bit of a walk up through the wood. So we got down, walk back up. We're kind of heading back towards Ross. And in one of these big forest plantations that I spoke about earlier, we could see in the thermal, we could see this boar. Now, he was a big boar. I think I might have put pictures of him up on the Instagram or on the hunting. If I haven't, I certainly will.
Yeah.
He came out. We were waiting for him to kind of come out of the forest, because while the forests over there are guarded by about an 8-foot high mesh fence, aren't they?
Yeah, 8 tree, 9 tree, and they make it look like fucking butter.
Yeah, honest to God, man. Yeah. But trying to get in over it wouldn't be the easiest,
No.
But the Boer were certainly getting in under it. So we said we give him an opportunity to come out with that, and he was heading that way. And he literally came out, and we were just winded of him, man. He put the nose up in the air, and next thing, gone. He was fucking gone.
Yeah.
So I think I was I wasn't that disappointed. I think Giannis was more disappointed. He probably thought we were going to get a shot off at him. But yeah, headed over to Ross then, and I never seen Ross McQuaid as happy in my entire life. To be honest with you, I
delighted for him. Delighted for him.
We were all absolutely delighted for him. A really, really, really good size board. Like, in fairness, when you think back on it, that was a good size pig. Like,
absolute man. I tell you, if you shot nothing else, you would be absolutely delighted to bring that thing home.
Yeah,
absolutely delighted. So let alone it be your first kind of big game animal. Like,
yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
Ross won't mind me telling you, apart from maybe a crow or a pigeon or something, I think Ross shot a fox at me a couple of weeks back, and that was pretty much his only kind of thing to shoot up until that, because obviously he's more so target shooting orientated and stuff, So that was a huge moment for him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then I went down and I saw him trying to grolic it, and it was just fucking hilarious. And, it was so Baloo kind of laughed and just kind of said, basically, just get the fuck out of the way. And between himself and Giannis, they done a really good job. They grolicked it up and stuff. And then myself and Ross had to drag it about another 200 yards back to where the Jeep was, and picked it up and back to base. And I think the crack started then, didn't it? It was good old crack. And
absolutely. And just before you go by, I think that they look, I know a few people do it over here, but the grolic as well, slightly different than what you and I do. But a lesson that nonetheless is just they have these little kind of like bone saws.
Yeah.
And they obviously grolic the belly out. Funny thing is that the belly is, the actual the grolic itself, the heart is in a kind of slightly different chamber. There's two chambers in the stomach, and then you have a lot of connective tissue. Once you get down to the bottom, then they just literally they split the two hindquarters right down from the belly down towards the back.
Yeah,
and literally then everything just straight out the back door. It's a very, very simplistic, easy, clean way of grolicking, and something I think I'll be maybe adopting going forward.
Yeah, I think so too. It's interesting you said that. I've been thinking lately. I just think that's a good way of doing it. I really do. Instead of pull that and back or not, just split them the whole way and then the whole lot out and away you go. I think it's
I think I'm going to bring a little bit of tying string in me top pocket, and if I'm lucky enough to shoot a deer, or you can split them down the middle. Not obviously all the way. Just and then you have the buttocks out. You're not bringing kind of what would you say, the anal passage back in the waist, if you get me. Those will do. And so and then I'm just going to tie the two back legs together. That's what I'm going to try. Because obviously the danger would be, as Rob Julie pointed out, that I think he used to grolic like that. It's just that it keeps the meat cleaner if you do it the other way, because the legs are.
Yeah. Well, look, that is fair enough. But I think I'm going to try it anyway, because I actually do have one of those little saws.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they? Yeah, cool.
It was amazing. So, so we were back to base. I think we were all fairly fucking tired that night, weren't we? I can't remember. Did we drink that night?
What did we do that? Yeah, well, we had the shopping, so we had what did we had a pizza or something, did we?
Did we go? Sorry, we must have went shopping before we went. We did.
Yeah, so remember we couldn't fit the shopping in the car. We had to throw it into Yanis's Jeep. Remember, we came out with 5 bags of shopping, and where the fuck are we going to put all this, man?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, that's right.
So I think we felt that there's deadly little the house itself, man. Like, very simplistic, very, very basic, but like really comfortable. That there's a fire in each bedroom. These really kind of like cool kind of open fire type things. There, you open up the little door at the bottom of like a chimney breast, and it's about a 6-inch square, or maybe a 9-inch square, and you fire logs into this thing, and by Jesus, does it keep you toasty warm?
Oh, it's lovely, man. Yeah, it's all kind of tiled on the outside to keep the heat. So yeah, Jesus, lovely. It's really nice. Yeah,
fired up a few pizzas. I think we had we have a glass of wine or something like that. We had a couple of glasses of wine, I think.
We didn't go too mad the first night. I think we were all pretty fucking wrecked.
Yeah. And then,
up to the room then, and other
jeez.
yep. Oh my Jesus, I'll tell you. Talk about snoring. I'll tell you one thing. Ross McQuaid is, if there was an Olympic medal going for it, oh, he's unreal, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, before I had the pleasure of staying with him, I did think to myself, was this fella good at it? But by Jesus, sleeping is up there with one of his talents, I can tell you. And not allowing anyone else to sleep would be a fucking second to that.
Oh, I tell you, he's like a fucking freight train. I've never seen a lad that snore like it in all my life.
I knew when he was a bother man when he was handing out earplugs. I was saying, oh, no.
He's hardly this bad, but by Jesus, he's bad.
Oh, fuck, man.
Bad. So we didn't get a whole heap of sleep the first night. No point in saying.
No, but a couple of hours. Because we were back up again at 5 o'clock, weren't we?
Yeah, back up at 5. Yeah, got a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. And Giannis picked us up, I think, around 6 o'clock. And headed out for a kind of a morning stalk, which ended up being like a 7 or 8K stalk.
Yeah.
I didn't show out in that morning, but I did have an amazing experience saw like an absolutely monstrous abnormal red stag, and we were watching them coming through one particular area of a wood that we were in, and me, Giannis and Ross went for a kind of a walk together, and then at one stage Ross kind of peeled off and kind of told him a direction to go, and he was heading back that way. Me and Giannis went down through, and we were watching these group of stags kind of going along the tree line. And then we knew there was kind of an old haul road where we were walking on. And we said, oh, I wonder would they break out in front of us to get a proper look. Well, this stag man came out just kind of on the top of a bit of a hill and turned broadside and just looked at me. And it was just one of those experiences I'll never forget in my whole life.
Yeah, shake your boots, wouldn't it?
Oh man, it was just this unbelievable, majestic animal. Just I guarantee you 99% of people don't ever get the opportunity to see stuff.
Yeah, they're not lucky enough to see it yet. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what we see. So, yeah, we just went walking around, and we were obviously on the hunt for a boar. But the whole thing, like I poor Giannis, man, I'd say I had the ear chawed off, and I was asking him questions about everything because that's just the type of person I am. I just love knowing information from somewhere different. I want to know all I can know about the players in the area and the wildlife and stuff like that. But saw some cool stuff, man. Giannis pointed out to me, went to one tree and there was like a square hole cut in the tree, and inside in the tree was a big salt lick. And Giannis explained that the hunting company, basically, they put them in the trees because obviously deer need salt. They need to be able to get salt to help with, for
growing the antlers and stuff.
Yeah. So, and they're all warned to put them because the only other place they would get salt is when they're out fucking salting the roads. And the last thing you want is some of these animals walking out in front of you,
Yeah.
So, yeah, he just showed me that. We saw loads of tracks of wild boar where they'd been rooting or where they'd been rooting for slugs and stuff. And then some of the areas where they I don't know what the word is, where they submerge themselves in muck and shite.
Wallow type of.
Yeah, exactly. They do that 4 times a day, apparently. And yeah, just start to finish seeing like woodpeckers where they were, like where they were living in trees, and it was just fucking cool, man. I just nice,
savage,
good walk, about 7K, 7-8K, I'd say. Back, met Ross, back into the Jeep and back home, back to base.
Yeah, and so similar to that, like just I suppose to further your point there, because we had a few questions I think coming in during the week. What way does it work and cost and stuff. So basically, the obviously row season is over now. I think that's September, October, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? Row book season, is that right?
I think it's earlier. I think it starts around.
It's earlier. Sorry, yeah. Oh, sorry. It's September, October. They start to lose their antlers. I think that's what. Yeah.
You can shoot them, I think, May till August. I think.
Yeah. You're correct and right, Bernie.
Yeah.
So you pay by the kind of the antler weight in terms of row. It's in grams. And then if you shoot a female, it goes by weight, and similar then with the boar, a male, it's by tusk size, and I think it's tusk size they call it, isn't tusk? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So tusk size, and if not by tusk size, then by weight. So, and you can shoot wild boar all year round, as far as I know.
Yeah.
The red stags, obviously, they're in season at the minute over there until the end of December, similar to ourselves.
Yeah.
And the fallow, again, I think similar to that. And again, that's all when it will literally go by the weight of the boiled out skull. So
Yeah.
they take the skull off, boil it out, and they weigh it. And then I think they weigh it another 24 hours after that when it starts to lose it, dry out, and so on.
Yeah.
And then you will pay by the kilogram in terms of fallow and red.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's important, to for anyone that's going to be going out there, some of the prices, like if you want to shoot, if you want to take home 16 kilo, if you want to take home a 16 kilo red stag head, that's going to cost you probably 15 grand,
Yeah.
But you could shoot 1,000 other animals, before that. That's like, if you have 30 grand that you want to spend it, you can spend it there. But if you also limit yourself to, I only want to spend €1,000, then there'll be something you can do that. Like, you can.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the issue with the boar you have to be kind of careful of as well is you don't know the size of the tusk that is on the ground,
Yeah. And you could get a small looking boar with a big tusk, or you could get a big looking boar with a small tusk. So
exactly. And the tusk, whatever you can see sticking out of the actual gum or up out of the jaw, that's only 1/3 of the overall length of it.
Yeah.
So if it's 4 centimeters here, you'll have another 8 centimeters in the jaw, and it goes, as you rightly said, it goes on the length of that, depending on the cost. But I honestly, if someone was to say it to me, and we will talk more about this probably in our next one when we're wrapping it up, but it's not over. It is not an expensive place to hunt. It really, really is not.
No, you can go over, and as we pointed out there, you can shoot you can go and you can shoot game as well. You can shoot pheasant and duck and pigeon and stuff like that as well, which there's abundance of. And that'll cost you, I think, €20 a bird, or roughly there for a pheasant.
Yeah,
I think 15 for a duck or something like that. And then sorry.
Coyotes are free. It doesn't cost anything.
Coyotes are free. Yeah, you can all the coyotes you want, I think. And then there's obviously the road there. Then it'll be the kind of starting at the cheaper end, and then into your fallows, and then obviously if you have the checkbook with you, you can go into the big red himself. So it's depending on much, and obviously the boar in between. I think the maximum for a wild boar, to put it in perspective, I think is about 1,800 quid, isn't it? For
correct, which would be rare, like, you know what I mean. Now, I think it's fair to say you would know it was an €1,800 boar when it's coming across that field, or you would know there was a good risk that it was going to be. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I think on my first night, and this is one thing that's kind of haunted me from then till now, is the second board that I seen on the first night.
Yeah,
I would suggest that he was €1,000 plus anyway, because the one at the end of the trip, I think he was bigger. Now that's obviously look at hindsight and all that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't have had a clue, and I would have been pulling the trigger there, not knowing that that particular one would cost that. So the experience will tell you that as you go along as well. If you want to go over and just, you can shoot a small female or a small boar, and it'll cost you, a couple of £100, and a few bob for your guide. And his diesel and a few bits of other pieces in your license and stuff like that. So it's not. I think, to put it in perspective, I think all of us got out with accommodation guides and our hunt and our quarry sent back well underneath €1,000. So that puts it in perspective,
Yeah, exactly. It is definitely not an expensive place to hunt. I definitely. And even when it comes down to stuff like the cost of fuel, you have to, fuel for driving you around. They would not have, if it was like, it's terrible to say, but a lot of countries would be like, if it was €30 for fuel, they'd say, well, 50, they'd round it to 50. But if it was €30 for fuel, it was €30 for fuel over there. They wouldn't do you out of a bob. Like, they were so straight about all the costs and transparent and everything.
It was 100%. I think we were called last morning. They kind of, you settled up in the last morning,
Yeah.
and I think it was €33 for diesel or something. You know what I mean? Down to the I think Yanis's father-in-law. He obviously brought myself and Rob out, and he was splitting his cost between us two. Do you know what I'm saying? So he wasn't charging us a guide down to that. Like, he was kind of. I could see him kind of, like, I was only one here, between two, so he was kind of having that conversation, just completely honourable, decent people, fantastic people.
Yeah,
could not have got. I tell you, like, that was even as I know we will be talking about our hunt, probably later on the show, or whatever. But from that, the one thing I took out of it, like, we've met fantastic friends over there. I think I like to think that they think the same. You just fantastic human beings, and couldn't speak highly enough of them.
No, absolutely. I would definitely agree with every bit of that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we headed out then the second night.
It's straight into the second night then, and it had got progressively colder by this stage, Benny. I wasn't the only one feeling that, was I?
No, you certainly were not, man. No, definitely. It was Baltic cold. Baltic.
Yeah, I think somewhere between -5, -6, or something like that. I think it was about that. I think at that stage.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I know it was bitterly cold. We headed out to. I'm trying to remember, where did Ross go? Ross wasn't too far from me. Baloo dropped me and Yanis to a big kind of probably a 60-70 acre field of a crop that it turns out is sown purely for the deer and the boars and stuff. The whole idea of it is it's an area of land dedicated and sown in seed, and the idea of it is to try and keep the animals away from actual
farmers' crops and stuff.
Farmers' crops, which is, I just thought that was I suppose, a true testament, and it just shows you what they're willing to do in the interest of keeping good game management and everything. I thought it was, because it's obviously a cost, but that was brilliant. Up into a tree stand, myself and Yanis, and then I was kind of thinking around probably 5 o'clock-ish. I was looking, I was like, is it just me now, or is that a fog? Is it starting to get foggy here? Of course, looking through the thermal, you don't notice it, but until you actually kind of, when you see a hedge line, through your own eyesight, and then it starts to get, less and less, and then an absolute almighty fucking fog landed.
Yeah,
it was horrendous. It got to the point we had heard at one stage there was a coyote behind us. Now, I turned around in the tree stand, and I threw on the torch, and honest to God, I could just barely make out 2 eyes. Now, I mean barely, in the fog, and I knew, look, it was a safe shot to take. I took the shot, and Yanis reckoned I hit him. I wasn't 100% sure, to be honest with you. But we didn't go venturing too far that night to look for him anyway, because you don't really want to be traipsing around woods.
No.
With all the wild boar and coyotes and stuff, so at night time. So we left it at that, and that was kind of it. We went for a bit of a walk, and the fog was just too bad, man. When you turn on a torch, you could see absolutely nothing where we were. I mean, not a single thing. Like, looking into a white, you could see nothing. So we went for a bit of a walk. Ended up walking past the cottage that we were meant to be staying in, which is just the coolest. It was just class, man, where it was never. It's a pity we didn't get to stay there. But anyway, it was.
We'll be there again. We'll be there again.
We will be there again. So then we went walking up through this wood, and Baloo and the Big Easy were supposed to pick us up, and Baloo took a bit of a wrong turn. And when you take a wrong turn in some of these woods over there, man, and especially when it's foggy, it would be very easy to get disoriented. You would not know the fuck where you were. So myself and Yanis walked for, I'd say, a good 2K up through this forest, like a little haul road. And we got it back to the point where we set off from. And lucky enough, Baloo was able to get himself back to that point, and picked us up and brought us back to base to thaw out.
Yeah, and you can imagine, just to put in perspective, like the way it's kind of set out. So there's like, it's kind of like a mad grid pattern. So there's like, there'll be a woodland with like a roadway through it, and then you'll come to like a T junction, and then there'll be a muck road going into the middle of another wood, or into the middle of a crop field, or it's all these little, and they're all muck roads, like really, really bad, you know.
Yeah.
So, and you're driving obviously at nighttime, but the guys seem to know, like the back of their hand. Obviously, they've grown up there, but like there's miles and miles of this road, like, and there's turnoffs. It's like a maze inside of a huge. Like if you did get put in there at nighttime, man, you would be a long time finding your way. Like because you would think, like what you were saying there in the fog, thinking, oh well, I get down out of the tree stand, maybe just go for a little walk just at last light, before last light. And I was thinking, like, if last light comes here, man, there's zero chance of me finding where I am here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so vast and so dense and yeah, like beautiful, but
Absolutely.
you want your wits about you.
Yeah, nighttime you don't want to be there on your own. You do not want to. And I actually meant to say, which was mad. At one stage when myself and Yanis were walking through this wood now, I think like it is eerie, it's you're on your own in the middle of fucking absolutely nowhere. No houses near you, no lights, no sound of a road, nothing. Just the howls of the coyotes and the rustling of a couple of deer as they're kind of making their way through the wood and stuff. Then every so often a fucking pheasant would get up and absolutely terrify the shit out of you. But then I could hear this kind of like, we were going along this road, and I could hear this kind of a rattle. Do you know, it was like a loud lump of tins, just something rattling. I said, what is this? And it was starting to get closer. And there, out of the fog, emerged this fella, well in his 80s, cycling the real old style bike with the big old front mudguard on it.
How are you doing?
I swear to Jesus, and he an old Hahani, and he singing away to himself in Hungarian. And
full to the gills of drink, no doubt.
Full to the gills of drink. And he said hello to Yanis in I presume what was Hungarian. And I said to Yanis, I looked at Yanis, and Yanis walked on, didn't even bat an eyelid. I was just like, where the fuck is he after coming out of, like? And you know the roads I'm talking about, man.
Oh man,
you be doing well to get down it, like.
Yeah, you think, but like if you're in boots, man, like as in hiking boots, you'd be thinking bad about going through it, because you would literally be and next thing you just be gone to your waist in a fucking pothole.
You would, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So he just says, "Oh my god, this list is fucked up." So yeah, that was just one little story. So I think me and Ross headed back to base then, and we were unsure about how ye had got on. But yeah, fill us in.
Yeah, so we took off then. Again, we thought we were going to the same spot, but we were going to a different spot. So we went through kind of similar direction, then I turned and drove for again 10-15 minutes deep into the kind of the what do you call the outback? You know what I mean? It's like a fucking, you've wood to your on one side and a kind of a young forest. Maybe these little kind of the openings to have. I think they're strategically done, but they've opened little small areas, probably in radius, maybe 200 meters, kind of in radius from a high seat, and then they've, like what you said, then they've started to kind of grow back, because you've kind of like bits of thorn bushes and young trees start growing, and bits of grassy stuff, and so we pulled up this high seat that I kind of. It looked fairly a little bit higher than the one we were on the night before, and he just kind of looked at the two of us and said, "Which one of you is getting out here?" And I looked at Rob, and Rob said, "Look, sure, I'll get out here." And that was just the way we decided. He got out there, and we drove on then to another spot again, probably another 10-12 minute drive, even further. And this was right, like as far into the wood as you could get, man. There was wood both sides, for a couple of 100 meters into it, and then on the left hand side there was a circular opening just in the middle of the wood, about 150, I'd say, meters kind of radius from the high seat. He looked at me and was, out you go. He said we decided that we were going to stay a little bit later this night. He picked Rob up at 9:30 or 8:30, and then me at 9:00. By the time, obviously, in between, or within a couple of minutes anyway,
Yeah.
So, and I like what you said. I had the coffee on, so kind of the first night I drank the coffee real quick, and this time I had learned, so I was rationing it. So you get a nice. I think that's essential. Two pieces of kit, just if anyone's listening, is a thermos cup with a nice bit of hot coffee in it, and a small. I'm going to do it. Do you know one of them jigsaw mats that you get for the kids out of Aldi's? You know that they're like a foam, soft foam.
Yeah.
Going to cut foot square that, and that's going to go underneath my buttocks, because it's that little bit of comfort for 5 hours in the high seat.
Yeah. You need some. Well, I'd slightly alter that. I went for the irresponsible hip flask full of whiskey. That was keeping me fantastic. And then I had the old Ridgeline bag. The old waterproof pullover that you can pull over.
Yeah.
Heavy. So I just took off I had a spare hoodie, so I just stuffed it in it and made like a waterproof cushion, and it worked out.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely job. Even better. But definitely something for underneath the buttocks anyway, because you're sitting on a cold, wet seat for 5 hours, and look at especially when we're at this point in time now, we're tired, we're cold, and we're hungry because we haven't really, we haven't been eating. We had a couple of eggs, I think, and a few old ham sandwiches and stuff like that. But compared to what we normally eat, for us anyway, we were kind of grazing and then shooting on. So similar story. I was up there for maybe an hour or two before anything started to move. And again, it was only small. It was like a bit of rustling. I think I seen a flash of a deer, and then last light came, and you were yourself and your thoughts again. And again, looking back, I have to say, thoroughly enjoyed that part of it. I didn't think I would, but and I probably didn't at the time. But it gives you a lovely perspective on things. You're in the woods, and I'd recommend at least one of the times, get out there and do that, and just yourself, quiet noise, but you know what I'm saying, countryside. And then not long after that, I heard 2 shots. In pretty quick succession. So I bet my bottom dollar who that was. The Mr. Automatic himself, down a good share away from me, but I kind of guessed it was him. So similar to that, then the fog started to started to pile in by then, and it was kind of like this. I don't know whether anyone has experienced, but it's kind of like a rolling fog, so you can kind of like almost see it coming in. Do you know that type of way? Do you know, like one of them smoke machines, it's kind of just fucking rolling in around your legs. But the deadly part was I right behind me on my right hand side, there was 2 woodpeckers going hell for leather at 2 different trees. That was cool. A wildcat, I have it on the terminal, which I'll show up, was chasing either a frog at one stage, trying to stalk in a frog, and I thought I'd have it when she caught it, but she wasn't good enough to catch the frog. There's loads of little moles, and then there was a coyote as well. So, and when I did actually find, I think I found it caught on the terminal. Actually, I hope it got on record. But the cat was doing her scent thing, and you could kind of see it spraying out.
I know,
So there was something cool about that. But not one boar came out to play. I didn't even get a flash of one that night. Not a single one.
No.
But look at that. Them's the couple of times you hear rustling. You hear heavy rustling in the woods. It's, oh Jesus! And you get ready. And what I did that night was as well, the fog coming in, tested the torch, and like that completely whited out the fucking scope because you're up against just thick, dense fog. So try to focus it and dim it back, trying to pierce through a certain point of it. And I just practiced on the Wildcat. And like that, it was extremely difficult. Like I was kind of saying, Jesus Christ, if something comes out here, like it's going to be a tough ask. But it didn't really matter because nothing came out. Absolutely nothing that I could shoot came out. So yeah, and that's it. With that, Yanis' father came back and collected me first. So I don't know what fucking way he came back in. He came back in the other way. So yeah, he collected me first, and then back on down to Robin. He said to me, "You hear?" And I said, he obviously heard wherever he was. The 2 shots. It was 2 shots, 3. Yeah, and then just before that, before he picked me up, I heard just a single shot. So went on down and picked him up, and here he had grollicked out 2 of the finest boar. 2 lovely sized boar pulled over to the high seat, nice and handy. And there was a funny story in that. I think what transpired was he basically picked up one in the thermal, and the minute the torch went on, started to run, and he clipped that one, bang smack in the noggin, and picked back up the thermal again. I heard kind of like a rustling, thought that it was just kicking, but seeing the boar running as he thought, picked back up the gun back on with the torch. And bear in mind, he had to take, this is the impressive bit, he had to take the torch off the gun, so he was holding the torch in one hand, and the rifle in the other hand on the high seat, the rest in the high seat, and took the other boar with the second shot. So, but he thought it was the first one, and then he just put back on the thermal, and here was 2 boar, not 1. So he started to panic a little bit. Fuck, I'm after shooting 2. I think he's seen another one come out, but he said the minute the torch went on, I think he got kind of frightened. I think he has it on the thermal. I think he showed us a little clip of it. He got frightened by a mouse or something. Did you see that one? No,
I did.
Yeah, so fucking he's obviously come over to kind of smell where the other 2 were grazing. Kind of what the fuck is going on here? Came back out a little bit, was tetchy about it, and then literally a fucking mouse got up out or a mole, one or the other, up out of the thing, and he went off like a fucking tornado. Oh, yeah. So that was funny to see. So Rob was delighted. I think we got off to a nice run. That was 2 boys off the mark.
Yeah, that was nice.
We're on a roll. You would have took that, like, if everyone shot one thing one day, you're not over there to kablam everything. But again, like that, I think he's seen plenty of deer, and plenty of wildlife. Just as actually we were approaching him, coming up on the middle of the road, coyote standing in the middle of the road, and Yanis's father and I said, "Coyote," and I hopped out of the Jeep, out round again, put up the gun, but it was with the lights of the Jeep against the fog, man. You could see zero. It was just, it was like looking into. You could see that the glimmer of the eyes, kind of one at a time, where he was kind of having a nose around. But the minute I put up the scope, it was just so hard to see. Which was a bit disappointing. But look, that's hunting for you, So
exactly.
With two lads off the mark, which was a good result.
Exactly, yeah. When we came back to the house that time, then we decided we'd go for a little bit of a walk down to the kind of neighbouring field that was kind of in front of the sort of the place where we were staying, didn't we? We said we could go down and have a bit of a look, and my God, there was 30 to 40 deer in it, wasn't there? Unbelievable amount of deer in it, At
least, I think, Brenny. I think there was, you guys were seeing You just everywhere you were looking, there was a group of 5, 6, 7. You look over there and there's, but again, it was kind of I think it was because it was the second last night, and we done that the previous morning. Obviously, I had hunted with Yanis's father-in-law, just stalking, similar to what you guys, and Rob was in a seat again. So and seeing nothing, and the only thing when I say seeing nothing, I seen a genius at work, and that's one of the things I think again I took away from the trip. Getting to walk alongside him, studying how he operates. He had like what I call fucking Gandalf's wand, big fucking steak with a fork on it and a metal spike on the bottom of it, like a metal cap. What I now believe is for in case he has to look after himself. So with a wild boar or something like that. So yeah, but look, I got out of the Jeep and just watching him, blows the breath up into the air and this way, real kind of just instantly he's deciding this is the way we're going. This is the route we're going to take. It's like as if it's just second nature to him, and almost, again, what you were saying, Brenny, you come across where wild boar were funny enough on that morning, we were actually after dropping Rob off and just came around this kind of like a hairpin corner, and here standing right bang smack in the middle of the road was a wild boar. But obviously, when you're driving over there, you have to have the gun in the gun case. So I had to get the gun out of the gun case, and get it cocked loaded, and he was gone. And just we walked up alongside, and we're having a look, but he was well gone by the time we got up. So, but so that was the probably as close as I had got to pulling the trigger. And you were pretty similar. But you and I kind of the opportunities just weren't landing for us just at that minute in time.
And the pressure was on, wasn't it? We were down.
We're down to the last day, and that's why I suppose that's why we ended up in that field that night. Just on the off chance, just get maybe a look at a coyote or something that a boar might just step out in front of us, but wasn't to be. Back to base.
Back to base. I took into a heap of wine, and it was
a heap of wine.
It was delicious. So yeah, that was the first 2 days done, and I think we'll wrap it up on that for part 1. I think, will we?
I think so. We're knee deep in here, so we'll get to the next bit, the second half, the other two boys, how we got on, in the next episode.
It's only going to get better. Cliffhangers, right? We'll move on and talk about a bit of gear, will we?
Let's do it.
And now it's time for a little thing we like to call Let's Talk Gear.
This segment of the Irish Hunting Podcast is sponsored by Highland Outdoors. Dive into the heart of the wild with Highland Outdoors, your one-stop destination for premium hunting, fishing, guns, and outdoor sports equipment. Join us on a journey where the untamed outdoors meets top-quality gear as we explore the essence of the wild with Highland Outdoors, where every adventure begins and every shot counts. Highland Outdoors, where passion meets precision.
Let's talk gear, man.
Right, Bernie, what do we have this week? This has been tested both nationally and internationally now at this stage. So
probably more.
There's no there's no limitations on the amount of content anyway that's on this machine at the minute. We got a nice bit of usage.
Yeah.
What is she first and foremost?
It is the Infiray EH35 handheld thermal. I had the i3 before this, and the guys in Highland Outdoors sent this out to me to give it a bit of a test over the next couple of weeks, just to kind of get it out there, have a bit of a look at it, give my honest opinions on what I thought of it. And I think when I went to Hungary, it was a great opportunity to to give it a good test out, and by God was I glad I had it. I'll tell you that without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I've seen some of the. We've actually had the privilege of at night time sitting down and watching some of the footage from it, and it's fantastic machine.
Yeah, absolutely, man, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I suppose starting off with it, I had the i3 before that, which was a serious tool as well. Really did like it. Functionality, pricing of it was very reasonable, I thought, for what it was. So this is obviously a bit of a step up from that one. This one, a couple of little things they've tweaked and changed on this one. So you have effectively two real buttons on it. You have the scroll button and the capture button. So you have a little rocker button that you can press it down or rotate it left and right. And obviously that does primarily your zoom functions. And then when you hold it down, it gives you when you press it once, it gives you your first couple of menu options, which you can adjust the brightness, the contrast. You can adjust things like the whether it's a white, kind of a sort of a white heat you want, a dark heat, a red heat. You can also adjust the different modes, whether it's in landscape mode, city mode, forestry mode. There's a couple of different modes depending on the type of landscape that you're in. That's where you do all your adjustments from there. If you long press that button, then you get the additional menu, and that's where you can turn on and off your Wi-Fi. Again, it has full built-in Wi-Fi for downloading videos, any photos, doing firmware upgrades. It's all done through Wi-Fi. Very simple and straightforward. You click on it, pair it to your phone, download the Infiray app, and you can do all your adjustments you want in there. All your images, everything you can do. It's great to have the opportunity. You can do it through the phone screen. Check your views, the whole job lot. Then there's a couple of other options on it. You can set the times, the dates, temperature settings. There's a built-in compass in it. You can turn on, there's another mode there for ultra clarity mode. It just gives it that extra little bit of a pop, the picture, whatever you're looking at. And I suppose, and so on and so forth. Obviously then to focus your adjustments on it, you've got at the back of the eyepiece, you can adjust some of your focus there. Do you know what I mean? Depending on your level of zoom, you adjust your focus. It goes out to 4 times magnification, which, look at that, 4 times magnification with the best of adjustments. It's not as clear as it would be if it's in 1 or 2, but still a fantastic bit of kit. And anything I could see, I could have, even at 4 times magnification, you would easily know and identify what it was. No hassle whatsoever. Yeah.
I think that what you said there about the buttons as well, like it is, I've held it in my hand as well. I actually, Dom gave me a spin of it before I threw it in the Jeep. And what I did like about it was that, especially obviously you're operating these machines in the dark. So you want to be able to differentiate between the different buttons, and you want ease of use. You want really something that you don't have to fucking take it off and turn on torch to look, geez, what button am I pressing there? And I know obviously as time goes on, you get used to it, but it is that kind of toggle switch or toggle wheel that we're talking about on top is very, very attractive for comfort and ease of use and finding the button. You know what I'm saying? Because oftentimes you're when you're out, you could put your fucking finger on the wrong button and then you're fustering to get back and so on.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool feature, I think. Really, really cool feature.
Yeah, it's grand as well. It has like a little eyepiece on it that you rotate to sit at the side of your eye to stop other intermittent light coming into your eye.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
The beauty about that is it's rotatable, so it's left or right-handed, whichever you want. There's no, within 2 seconds it's a right-handed unit or a left-handed unit. That's it work as well from either of them. They have made a couple of changes from the previous model, which I was glad to see. The one thing I wasn't overly gone on with the last model was it has the magnetic charging point. Now I think we spoke about it before. It was just a little bit finicky. Like when it's on and it's connected, it's grand. No hassle whatsoever at all. But it's if it gets a bang or a knock or whatever, next thing you don't, you unknowns yourself, it's not even charging.
Yeah. It's probably not a great idea in theory, but probably not suitable for the hunter market, if you get me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So change that now, and you've got like a lightning C port, which it's secure, it's done.
Deadly.
LED light on the side of it, then it goes from obviously red to green, depending on the charge state that it's in. Normally, the way the older model would work was your reticle cover on the front of it, on the front of the monocular. When you would open that, the cover, you would be powered on. When you close it, you will be powered off. The beauty about this one is when you open that and you want to start it initially, you just have to press and hold I believe it's the capture button it's the scroll button. You have to press and hold that for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and then the terminal comes to life. The beauty about that is you could have that case ever so slightly cracked open and you wouldn't realize it was open.
Yeah.
It would easily drain your battery, So the beauty about it is now when you open it, initially the first thing, you still have to power it on. But when you go to close it, then it will give you 2 options. So if you press the capture button once really quickly, it puts it on standby. And if you press the scroll button down, it shuts it off. No, sorry, I've that actually. Apologies, I'm the wrong way around. If you press the scroll button, it puts it in standby, and if you press the camera button, it shuts it off. So then, if you want to, the minute you open it back up, the minute you open the lid back up, it's ready to go. It's on. It's instantaneously. You're looking. If you want to go even one further than that, you can flick the rocker real quick before you let down the lid, and it's on. It's up and running straight away. You're not waiting for it to get going or heat up or anything like that.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
It is instant. It's instant. So
battery life, Brenny, roughly what are you getting out of it?
I'd say I'd say you'd easily get around 8 hours. I'd say you'd easily get 8 hours.
Yeah.
I'd have to check the stats on it, but I'd say it easily. I think it gets full charge time or 90% charge time in about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is good going.
Yeah. And that's, look, if you're getting 6-7 hours over a machine, you're not going to be really hunting realistically much more than that in the dark, unless you're as mad as us boys. That's ample.
Absolutely.
Overall, good machine, Brenny.
Overall, man, absolutely super bit of gear. It comes in a nice protective carry case. You've got your hand straps, you've got your neck straps, your pouch for it. You've got all your lens cleaners, your chargers, your adapters, everything you're ever going to need. Absolutely superb bit of gear now. Yeah, fantastic.
Deadly. And out of 10, what do you think?
I can't knock it really for anything. I really can't. I price wise, I get a final price wise, it's between 2,000 and 2,500, I think, which for what you're getting, like there's other makes and models out there to be for the same, you're going to be a 3,500. So I'd give it 9.5 out of 10, man. I really would. I'd give it 9.5 out of 10. If I was to mark a half a pint off it for anything, it's just I do like some of them, the idea of ones that have an interchangeable battery.
I was just going to say that's probably the only thing. Like I've looked through that glass, very impressive.
Yeah,
and as you say, bang for buck, a fantastic piece of kit.
Yeah,
the external battery is, I think, I look at, hopefully, it seems to be every time we talk about something they change about. I don't know whether that's a coincidence, probably is, but a few times we've talked about stuff and stuff was in the water anyway, I'd say. But like that, a little external battery would be cool. One because you could have a spare battery then, which I think all of us like to have. And then second of all, then obviously the battery is the one part of the machine that's probably going to go first. So you'd like to be able to, fuck a battery away if it does go, or if it's faulty or something like that, and then have a spare one in your arsenal should you need it.
Absolutely, 100%. I think price wise, there's other makes and models out there that we haven't tried yet, but from anything I have tried, certainly from the various manufacturers, for that price, I don't think it'll be bet. And I'm looking at the correction. If there's another one that think it will, I'd have to test it. But I think for that kind of money, for what you're getting, I don't think it'll be bet. Yeah,
and look, there's levels like what we were saying about the hunting. There's if you're the model that you previously had, bang for buck again. very reasonable. And I know, geez, here we are saying 1,400 euro, 1,500 euro, whatever, reasonable. But like, like obviously, the deeper the pocket, it's like anything. Obviously, there's extra bells and whistles that you can hang on top of everything. But it's if you're comparing like for like, it's a fantastic piece of kit. Piece of kit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So anyone that's interested, again, as I mentioned earlier on Tuesday night, we'll be down at TK Shooting Supplies in Ballina. The full Infiray lineup of stuff will be there. Come down, get a look. You'll see it for yourself. Little bit of I suppose, a insight. I will be testing a new thermal clip-on in the next couple of weeks.
Brilliant.
So that cannot wait to get that and see how that goes. Yeah.
And I looked through that very machine, and it's very, 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 very impressive.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
So interesting to see how you get on with that, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Without man, there won't be a fox in the country safe.
Deadly stuff. Deadly stuff.
We'll wrap it up, man, and we'll go on and talk about a bit of grow, will we?
Let's do it.
This section of the Irish Hunting Podcast is sponsored by the Pulsar Telos LRF XP50 handheld thermal spotter. It's more sensitive, incredible at detection in all weather, because the Telos LRF XP50 has a huge sub 18 millikelvin NETD thermal sensor. For a thermal that's always got you covered, look no further than the Telos LRF XP50 handheld thermal spotter from Pulsar.
Anthony, food,
man. I'm telling you, I'm starving now myself. I'm polishing off an old Jemmy here and a bottle of beer, and you know the way you get a bit of a hunger on you, especially when you're reading a fucking a recipe.
Yeah, but, you would.
This is, I haven't tried this one yet, but I know Christy Malloy loves venison heart carpaccio, or sorry, ceviche. This is venison carpaccio a la forklift. This is from the boys down in, our mates down in Smokin-soul. And Pat kindly sent this one through a couple of weeks back, and we're getting onto it now. So, basically, they were renovating a barn down there, and a friend came out, a man by the name of Mark Trout, and as a treat one day, the boys went to make a bit of lunch, and they hadn't prepared that and raided the fridge, and they decided on making a carpaccio of venison from some fresh loin and fillet we just taken in. The lunch was served on the back of the forklift that sat in the shed being renovated, and thus the carpaccio a la forklift was born. And this is about as simple as you can get, lads. Now, being honest, I think I'd like this maybe as a summer dish, but definitely maybe as a kind of a nice starter or something, maybe over the Christmas if we're lucky enough to shoot a nice doe.
Yeah.
But it's half a fresh venison loin, a bit of rock salt, horseradish sauce. I love do you like horseradish sauce?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah. Bit of lemon, bit of parmesan, a sweet berry chutney of your choice. I like an old chutney myself too. They use a beetroot and blackberry preserve, but this is optional. A bit of wasabi.
Oh yeah,
that's different now, isn't it?
That is different. I wasn't expecting to see that in there now. Yeah,
and that's an optional extra.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this is, as I said to you, very, very simple, very quick. Cut the line as thin as you can. As you cut the meat, run the knife over it, spreading it thinner as if buttering bread. Then place on the platter you'll serve on. Continue until the platter is full. Firstly, add lemon juice, squeeze all over the meat. Next, salt to taste. Add the chutney in little drops around the platter, and do likewise with the horseradish. Finally, grate the parmesan over the top, and serve and consume immediately.
Oh, Jesus. You wouldn't have to tell me twice to tell you that.
Consume immediately. I need the flowers on the plate after that, man. That is gorgeous, isn't it?
Savage, man. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's a nice barbecue dish. That's a nice summer dish. I like that. Definitely.
Yeah, you know, as a kind of like if you're waiting on a nice bit of brisket or something, you know what I mean? Not that I've ever
Yeah.
cooked brisket, not yet. The lads will teach us no doubt, but
Yeah.
you could have that just as a little snack and a bit of glass of wine in your hand. What do you think about that, Gord?
It'd be savage. No, we're singing the same hymn sheet here, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the sweet berry, you know, the berry chutney with the lemon. And, oh yeah, man.
Lot going on there, man. But it'd be absolutely gorgeous, wouldn't it? It'd be fucking absolutely. And nice when you put a bit of lemon then to put something else like that little bit of some sweetness and some horseradish. You get a little bit of a bite to it, and
yeah,
a lot going on there, man. But that's nice. That is fucking savage.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hopefully look. I might go out, shoot a deer this weekend. Have a bit of carpaccio. There you go, job done.
There you go, job done.
Simple as that. Huh?
If only it was that simple. Huh?
See 2 gems in deep. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, that is class, man. We will be up there after Christmas. I think is it January or February? We're heading up to the lads.
He's in February. Yeah, cannot wait for that, man.
Yeah,
cannot wait.
Yeah,
I think they're
from around January.
sure. Do you know what happened there, man? Do you remember that bull you shot there the other day?
Yeah.
Boys heard we were coming, so that's reinforcements were sought. So
exactly. Yeah. Well, boys, I can't wait. No, I can't wait. From all the stories we've heard and all the stuff, it's just an absolutely class weekend all around.
Yeah, it'd be right up our street anyway. Plenty of grub.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Without a doubt, no, I can't.
Good stuff. Now, getting back to the big news,
the challenge, man.
The IHP challenge. This is going to be bigger and better, obviously, than last year.
Yeah.
For anyone who didn't take part last year, go back to what we were talking about in our hunting trip story. It's a challenge. It is a challenge. I know there's a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, that's easy." You know, it's easy. Try it, do it, win a prize. That's So,
yeah.
Get out there. Get your feet in the ground. It's regardless of the weather, you're going to be out there hunting. We're going to pick a date now soon, Brenny, are we?
Well, I actually kind of had one happen. I was thinking we would do one the same as last year, if that suits.
Okay.
It's just around the 30th of December. It's kind of the day. It's that in-between time of Christmas and New Year's. You don't want to do it too close to Christmas or too close to New Year's, so you'll be finished up on the morning of New Year's Eve morning. So you can get a couple of hours sleep. You'll have great stories to tell when you're out New Year's Eve with all your friends and family, and it'll give you a real good appetite for a few pints. And there's nothing about this that you won't love, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's challenging. It's tough. But you and I were absolutely wrecked last, and Rob and the Big Easy, in fairness, they both stayed with us right to the end, and it was nothing short of rewarding. I didn't think I'd like it or enjoy it as much as I did. But definitely, really, and if we get the weather, if we get nice, sharp, frosty weather, you'll just it's something you'll remember, I think, and we're trying to build it as a kind of yearly tradition, getting people and boots on the ground, getting guys and girls out hunting, fishing, and we've made it a little bit easier to get involved this year, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so. That was kind of one thing from last year that probably certain people kind of held off and going, because there was a couple of things on that list that they just saw as kind of impossible, or they just thought it wasn't going to be. It was just something that wasn't easily attainable. But sure, look, if it was easy, everybody would do it. But all that aside, we are kind of calling this the Land, Air and Water Challenge.
Yep.
And I have a couple of species here named out. So the whole idea is, of all these species we're naming out, you have to get 3. You have to get 3. We've a lot of companies getting involved, giving us prizes. They're all mad to get involved in it. Give us prizes. There'll be prizes donated like last year. Now remember, like some of the prizes, you over $2,000 worth of prizes last year in one handout. Like, so some of the prizes are absolutely phenomenal. So
yeah,
I suppose land. So if we're talking about land, we're talking about land animals that live and breathe in the land. All of these, of course, are within season, and you can get them. So on the land, you have an option for a deer, fox, rabbit, squirrel, or a mink. If you're talking about the air, birds, you've got pigeon, grey crow, magpie, duck, snipe, woodcock, pheasant, grouse. And then this is the good one. This is the one we've really, made an awful lot bigger on the water, because a lot of lads that are into fishing maybe don't do much hunting. But again, you can go for, if you want to go for all land, all air, or all water, that's completely up to you. But you have to have 3 different species. And in the water, we've got pike, roach, bream, tench, pollock, cod, mackerel, plaice, dogfish, spurfish, whiting, bass, or any saltwater fish. It can be, there's ones we don't know about and more, but it can be any saltwater fish. But you must have 3 of those. So if you want to go 1 from land, 1 from air, 1 from water, all of them from land or air or walk, whichever way you want, we'll put up the finalised list and you must have 3 of those to be entered into the draw for the prizes.
Yes, and very important as well, as last year, you must bring your little banner with IHP challenge, because we don't, you know what I mean. We just want to eliminate the chance of, a pheasant from 3 years ago entered into the competition. So,
we'll have IHP and the date and the day on it as well.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I think it just opens up. Like last year, we had a lot of lads saying, "Oh, the pike, like." I could get a pheasant, I could get a fox, but the pike, I don't do any fishing. There's nowhere around here, so that's grand. So, like for the likes of those lads now, you have fox, rabbit, squirrel, pigeon, grey crow. It's an awful lot easier to get in. I won't say you still have to get out. You still have to do your hunt. It's not like you can stand outside your back door and get all 3.
Yeah.
And then we will have a special bonus prize for somebody that gets the most amount of species. Because I think, like I will be, I know you will be, Anto. I think a lot of lads won't just settle for the 3. They'll go as hard as they can.
Well, at last year I would have settled for fucking 2, but there you go, the way things ran. But look, I think definitely the more you can get in the bag, and I think the thing is, sit down, set out your strategy, what you're going to hit first, and so on. Time wise, we're going to open on what time and finish at what time?
Yeah, I think, as I say, we'll do it like last year. We'll start at 6 o'clock in that morning, so you're up, you're out. You can get, you can do lamping at that hour in the morning if you want to, or you can go after your deer or whatever you want to do. I think we'll do it the same again, 6 till 6 in the morning, full 24 hours. I don't think we're not asking you to pick the 3 that you're actually going to actively go for, because we don't want someone to say pick 3 and then something go wrong with them and then they just throw in their towel out. Do you know, if one, you have plenty of options there. If one doesn't go your way, move on to the next one. Do you know? Yeah,
exactly. You can go after a sniper, a woodcock, or a duck, or yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, you've plenty of options, and you can swing your tactics like that. I think most people will be going after, either a deer or a fox early morning, and then maybe onto your pheasant and maybe throw a line in the water and so on, and then leave the evening then for, please God, if you have something in the bag, you might be able to go after a pike or a pheasant in the afternoon shoot or whatever, So I like that. The guys and girls with the fishing, there's plenty of options there. It'll be nice, I think. It'd be cool if the fisher people would get maybe a sea species and a kind of a river species. That'd be cool. I think that'll be, if it comes down to it, like if there's like for like, them type of things might come into play in terms of picking a winner. If it's a nice, obviously size wise, it'll come into it and stuff like that. So get out, get onto it, and try and get involved and have the bit of crack. Like there's lads last year sending us in pictures of the fry up going on at 10 o'clock and the ham sandwiches with a bit of mustard on the cup of tea. And I think Norman was cursing us from a height, I think last year in the Pistons rain down in Carlow. So we great crack overall. I think it was well worth doing. But like what you said, I think we've made it more accessible this year. Not necessarily easier, but we've made it more accessible, which is good.
Definitely, yeah. I am just like, even on the fishing, like for the people that do a lot of coarse fishing going on that time of year, you've got essentially five species there that can be caught in any canal in Ireland. You got pike, perch, roach, bream, and tench. So if you're somebody that's into your fishing, and you can easily, not only can you compete in this, but you could potentially do very, very well in this competition.
Apologies, I said river. It's just like canal, but you know what I mean. Nice salt, and I don't know what you have in the canal, but
exactly.
Salt and no salt.
No salt, yeah, exactly. As I said, we will have a special prize, a good prize on the day for somebody for whoever will get the most amount of species. And then we're also asking everyone that's taking part in the competition to post their pictures on their socials with the hashtag IHP24 our challenge. That's IHP 24HR challenge.
Deadly.
And then, we will pick out a winner, and they'll get a hoodie and a beanie and a couple of stickers.
Deadly stuff. That could be. I think I'm really looking forward to that now. I think I'll be straight off the phone or straight onto the phone now, and we'll be discussing tactics. Who's going out with you this year? Big Easy?
Oh, I don't know, man. The Big Easy or Big Mac. I don't know what's going to happen now, because I have to bring Big Mac. I can't not bring Big Mac, So, we might see. I'll have to see what the story is. I don't know if Big Easy is coming or what the crack is.
Okay.
We can't. I suppose one thing we should do is it has to be no more than groups of 2.
2, I think. Yeah, I think 2, because they're only doing 3 species. Well, like, you can do as many species as you want.
Yeah,
but groups of 2, I think, is leaves it hard enough and easy enough. So I think
that's fair. Yeah,
that's fair. Look at either way, you could get. Hopefully Christy gets involved this year, so that'll be another one in the pot.
Yeah.
That's a shout out, Christy. So you better.
Better. They'll all be getting involved, man. I want all of that. One gun club and your gun club and Bra for gun club and everyone. We had a lot of people entered last year, and it was brilliant. It was ripe for the crack. And I think this year, by all accounts, you're going to have an awful lot more people entering it. Any ideas on what you're going for? I have a funny feeling you're going to talk to the fella, and he's going to say, "We'll head to the beach." Would I be right in saying that?
I don't know, man. I don't know, because you see, the beach fishing, like, there's a good bit of setup and that, and like, that's going to burn a good bit of time. So I don't know. I think I'd be not that I know a whole pile about fishing, but I'd be tending to go for maybe the fox, maybe first.
Yeah.
Try and get that in early doors, and maybe get up before, mid-morning, maybe go after a deer. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then get a line in the water. I think I'd like to catch me first pike.
Yeah, that class. I'd love you to do that, man. That I would.
Yeah. I wanted to leave it. Not that any of them is like, each one of them is a challenge in itself, but I just wanted to, I'd like to, and then maybe leave the evening then ideally for a pheasant. So, or at least you'd have the walk for the pheasant. So I think that'd be the way I possibly see it going. But look at the way our plans always go is, I think I told you.
Yep.
Rob asked me what's the plan. I'd say I don't mind. What do you think? No, you tell me. I'll tell him a plan, and he'll completely change it.
Yeah.
That's probably the way it's going to run.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go deer, fox, because I might get two, either one or both, or maybe none. In the first probably bit of the morning.
Yeah.
And then I'm definitely getting a line in the water after that. 100%. I'd sacrifice only getting 2, but I'm going fishing after that 100%.
Yeah. 100%. I think that's good, because, like, bear in mind, if you if you're lucky enough to shoot the deer, you have a bit of work getting them home, getting them back, getting them grollicked, getting them into the fridge, and then you have to go straight back out again. So it's going to be, it's going to be hell for fucking leather,
Yeah, it is.
So a bit of fishing might be strategically good,
Yeah.
Because you can, if that goes well and you get your pike, then that leaves you open for maybe a possibility of an even shot, So I like your thinking.
Could be the way to go. Look, I'll finalise all that. Look, I know whether it's if it's McKeever, he'll just say, "Sure, look, I'll just do whatever." So I have to see what the story is. McKeever did actually. I promised him I was going to bring him this year. So Big Easy might have to find himself a little hunting buddy, but I'll see how it goes.
We'll try and partner up. Is there a Tinder for hunters? No.
I don't think they'd be queuing up though. I don't think. Myself and Christy Malay be 2 good lads to get out together, wouldn't it? There'd be some yarns told there, boys.
Well, that might be because fucking Christy won't let him sleep now.
Not hopefully, no way.
Christy won't let him sleep, so that might be the way to go there. Give Christy the fucking cattle prod. Send him off there.
Honestly, yes, you'll want it. You'll want a spare battery for it too, I'd say. Yeah, but no.
The Bow Blue reckons, man, every 10 minutes you have to wake him. in the high
That's
seat.
shocking. Like that, just like -10, and he's sitting in a high seat in Hungary, man. I was twitching. I was nearly having a fit. I was looking everywhere. And what's the fucking Baloo falls asleep.
Yeah, and shoots a monster boar on the fucking first night. You couldn't write it.
No, you couldn't.
Falls asleep.
He fell asleep before he shot him. Baloo had to wake him up. Where would you get?
Jesus Christ.
Where would you get? I do want to say, when I do get the opportunity, a massive big thanks to Mammy Nula, Big Easy's mammy. And she, of course, she didn't have an easy job raising that Baloo, but she was over in Canada lately and over meeting her son, Colin, the brainy one, and came home with a lovely Bass Pro hat and T-shirt for myself and the Big Easy, which are nice. Loving it.
Brilliant stuff.
So, Mammy Nula, thanks very much. I know she.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant. And fair play to her. She deserves a medal.
She definitely does. Without a doubt. So that's the story. I suppose we'll wrap it up.
I suppose we will. Have we? Yeah. Before we go, please, like, share, give us a little 5 stars if you like us on Spotify or Apple. That just keeps us a little bit relevant. And if you want to buy myself and Brenny a coffee and a half, you can do that on the link on our Instagram. And of course, we're doing a couple of specials coming up to Christmas on the clothing.
Yes.
So, which will be announcing over the next couple of days. But there'll be things like, a hoodie and a couple of stickers delivered for 60 quid, Christmas special. There'll be kind of a hoodie beanie sticker special. Again, for in around, I think, $70 or something like that. So, look, there's loads and loads of little things that will be thrown out. So, we'll be banging them up there over the next couple of days. So if you want your hoodie for Christmas, it's probably about time you get ordering.
Absolutely. Limited stock supply, apparently, because you sent me the list of what's left today, and there's not a whole pile left. So.
She's getting tin on the ground, man. Yeah, so I don't know whether we'll be able to get another order in for the Christmas or not. So it's going to be tight. So if people want them, just get on them. All right.
Lovely stuff, man. Lovely stuff. 110%. We'll sure look at if I'm not chatting to you. If you're heading out for a shot, the best of luck.
And the very same to yourself, and get better soon, man.
Will do, buddy, 100%. And likewise to all our listeners, thanks again for listening. And safe hunt and happy hunting.
Stay safe, stay hunting. Over now, guys.
Take it easy.